Man. All right, man, here we are for another session of Off the Grid. Our next guest is an MC, a producer and a businessman out of Cali. I wanted to welcome and thank my brother Convoy for hopping on today's show with me. How are you, man?
Much respect, Memphis Reigns. Yo, man, it's an honor to be on here, man.
Shoot.
Man, looking back at our history, man, we're still here, and we're still trying to make an impact. You know,
Yes, it's been a long time, man. I think we've been friends probably for over 20 years now, man. I think just about, right?
yeah, just about, man, just about. And
Yeah,
I kind of came up listening to your joints, man. So
that's
you,
wild, man.
Genelec, Son of Rand, hype. Those beats, man. The mind mechanics. Scorpion circles, man. Come on, man.
Yeah,
So
I'm glad we have the opportunity to do music, man. And so, yeah, it's an honor to have you. And I know we got a laundry list of things that I want to talk about. But hey, if you're good, I wanted to start with music, and then we'll go into your blog, and then talk about some of your military service. How's that sound, man?
oh man, let's do it, man. I like
Uh,
talking to like-minded individuals, man. But obviously, man, you're a boss man compared to my stuff. But yeah, let's dive into the music, man.
all right, you're too kind, man. All right, for with that, let's start with a little bit about your background. Where in Cali are you exactly from? Tell me about how you grew up and how long you've been making music.
Oh man, I'm from LA, man. I'm a SoCal guy. So I'm
Yeah.
from LA, and was born in Bellflower, California, and then my parents originate from Argentina, Mexico,
Oh, wow.
Huntington Park, uh, and then they found themselves situated in Downey, California.
Uh huh.
Go figure. That's when I first met you in person
Yep.
in
Yep.
in Downey,
We
in
did,
my hometown. You
did a
know,
show together. That
we
was
did
the
a show.
best.
Yeah, and and then from then on, I scattered around. Coming from divorced parents, and once that happened, we just were scattered around from I'm talking Linwood, Southgate, Norwalk, Cerritos at one point.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so us moving around with my mom's, um, opened up our eyes to the surrounding areas, and that and then obviously when I got into my high school days, that's when I was very fond of music and interested in like a creative outlet.
Okay.
So I used to hang out with Profound,
Oh. Okay.
back in high school.
Okay.
Long story short, he ended up marrying uh my friend from kindergarten. You know, so that's how me and him came up. We
Are
used
you
to
guys the
always,
same age or no?
yeah, we're the same age. So
Okay.
whenever he ditched school, I ditched school. Whenever, I remember when the Lakers won their first championship with Shaq,
Yeah.
Shaq and Kobe. Remember the first time they won that championship.
Yeah.
We all ditched school. We almost died together, man, because
Oh
it
shit.
was me, my bro, Profound, and the other homie, and we ditched school. Who didn't ditch school to go to the
Yeah.
Lakers parade? You know,
Right. Right, man. It's a big deal.
Everybody had to go,
Uh huh.
and it was that time where like the Downey heads, we were just all going to the Staples Center when
Yeah.
they won the first ring, and on the way over there, we got in a car accident, severe car accident. Talking
Oh
about
shit.
Profound ended up, you know, breaking his leg, and then my brother ended up, dislocating his hip, and
Oh
I
man.
was the only like survivor. Like I'm the only one who didn't get medevac or something like.
Oh man. I didn't even know that. Holy cow. Okay.
Yeah. So after that, we like bonded, and obviously Profound was always rapping, and with his homies, and I used to always to just be like a visual. I used to always look at them, not necessarily making music.
Oh. Oh,
You know,
crazy. I
I
didn't
used
know
to
he
just hang
started
out.
first.
I used to just hang out. Watching
Yeah.
these dudes rap. You know, and I never rapped. I never made music in my life. Never made beats until one day I'm just chilling at Profound's crib, and
Yeah.
he's making beats, and I'm just like asking him questions like, "Yo, what program are you using, and
Yeah.
how do you make music, and he never even like approached me about rapping because he knew I didn't rap. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't that homie. So he used to rap with all these other dudes. And then I didn't start rapping until I came back from deployment. I came
Oh,
back from my first
that's
ever
crazy. I had
yeah.
no idea. Oh man. As long as I've known you, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't start rapping till like I was like after 20 years old, you
Oh
know?
man.
So, but I do remember like back in the days I used to always like in my head write rhymes or like spit my own little versions of styles, and always thought like, you know what, I'm too shy for this, I'm not gonna do it, you
Yeah.
know. But you know, Profound always kept in touch with me after high school. So, you know, when I came back from deployment, what do you think I did? I always went to his crib on
Yeah.
the weekends, and he's always be in the studio making beats and with other homies. And then until one day I'm like, hey dude, I got something written down, and let me just spit. And we used to record on those old Mac uh big PC computer looking things with the colors.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
they look like little eggs,
That's right. The old school monitors. Yep.
Yeah. And then I remember the first time I ever recorded anything was like on that little hole on the little mic hole on the computer, and we used to put like a paper towel for the pop filter.
Oh
Yeah,
shit. Uh-huh.
and then that was like my first time, like him like hitting the red button, the record button, and hit me recording something. Obviously, I'll sound it. My first ever recordings, I was obviously like trying to find my style. I
Yeah.
always was like rapping how I talked, you know.
Sure.
And then, but yeah, with more consistency and more creative ingenuity, and obviously me being always with Profound,
Yeah.
like to this day, man, I could tell people this, man, nobody's ever actually seen me record music besides Profound.
Oh, that's crazy, man. And
Yeah,
I
like
had no clue, man, that he was the one that was rapping first. And then he kind of, I guess, just through observation, man, he inspired you to rap a little bit and put the pen to the paper. Yeah, I'm shocked. I didn't know that.
yeah,
I thought you
yeah.
kind of just joined together.
Back in the days, man, he wasn't really. I don't think he was as good as the other homies either. So
Okay.
he was
Oh,
still like
shit.
developing his style, like so. But somehow, bro, I remember like when I came back from deployment, I heard some of his stuff because he wasn't really recording either.
Okay.
He was just like he kind of stopped doing it. He was just more making beats. But dude, his lyric folder was just like beyond insane.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I used to tell him too, like, yo, you gotta put this down, man. We gotta, you gotta put this down,
Yeah.
and somehow the group was made because I came back from deployment.
Yeah.
I was in the Navy, and then my background in the military is being a non-combatant. I was FMF corpsman. I was a medic for the
Yep.
Marine Corps, so we're
Okay.
considered non-combatants. And then Profound just resonated with that name,
Nice.
so if I was never really in the military, what I experienced, I don't think our name would have been non-combatants. It would have been probably something else, you
Yeah.
know?
And what year was that? I have you early 2000s, huh?
Yeah, 2004.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so yeah, you were in service before me, and I think when we finally met, I had heard your name too, Convoy, right? And I was like, dude, I said, you gotta have some military background, with that name.
yeah, and the reason why
Uh,
I named myself Convoy, because man, you know how many convoys I've been on. Obviously,
Tons.
foot mounted patrols, but I'm not gonna call myself patrol or something like that. But at the end of the day, even in while I was in Ramadi, and even my second deployment, I used to be on so many convoys that my nickname was Convoy.
Oh, no kidding. That's how it came about, huh?
Yeah, so
Oh man.
I was just like, okay, these guys call me Convoy because I'm always on fucking Convoy. It's like, yo, Convoy, you know. So it was normal to me. And then Profound
Ah,
he was always known as Profound, like with the homies.
yeah.
But the reason why me and him bonded so much because he was always there. Like he was the only homie after high school. Or we're both, you know, we both got in trouble during high school. We went our separate ways, and then but we bonded more because one of our friends committed suicide in high school.
Oh
So
shit.
he was like the underground guy. He was the one introducing us to like Tumex,
Yeah.
Living Legends,
Yep.
Visionaries, stuff like that. So in high school, when he did that, that's when me and Profound got a little, more closer. Um, and then yeah, so me just as out of just pure observation and boredom, that's how I decided to like just write some lyrics. Only because like, what else do I have to do?
Yeah.
I can't be like watching Profound like just write lyrics and make beats
Yeah.
and make music by himself.
It was
Because I kind of
natural. Yeah.
I kind of felt like, man, you're not really releasing music. You got all this stuff,
Yeah.
but yeah, if it wasn't for him making beats, I would have never learned how to make a beat. If it
Yeah.
wasn't
That's
for him
wild.
helping me record music, I would have never learned about recording music. So I credit him for a lot of stuff. And then next thing you know, obviously, I always thought Profound thought I was whack, and I knew for a fact that I wasn't like as sharp as him or as like seasoned as him. But I kind of developed my style to a point where like I got more confidence. So once
Yeah.
I started like gaining more confidence and stuff like that, and then obviously, strangers telling me like, "Hey, is that you on the record or is that you on the song?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." And they're like, "Oh man, you don't even sound like how you talk." I'm like, "Well, that's the goal. I
Yeah.
don't want to sound like how I talk. That's kind of like weird."
Yeah. It
So
comes
I
with
think,
time. It comes with time, man. And so, man, I think you guys are a good match for each other. Your voices contrast well with each other, and get to
yeah, I
sound
have
good.
I have more of a fast, high toned
Yeah.
voice, and he has more of a like a soft spoken, deep,
Deeper voice.
yeah,
Yeah.
deeper
That's
voice.
right.
But lyrically, man, he's the dopest MC I've ever met in my life, even to this day. And I'm, my, with the whole blog thing and me putting on artists and me doing all that to this day, I don't think there's nobody as dope or as profound. I'm not because I'm like biased or nothing, but
Yeah.
I'm
He's
like,
dope.
you've heard his stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just like,
You're modest too, man. You're you're
you
pretty
know,
modest. You're a dope wordsmith too, man. So,
and I
but
think
yeah, I agree.
and I think
Profound.
we kind of challenge each other too.
Yeah.
So the better he got, I got,
That's
and the
right, man.
better I got, he got.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Iron sharpens iron, right?
yeah,
Oh
and
yeah.
and and that's why I kind of gravitated to groups like y'all. You know, I never, I was more into listening to like group stuff like Wu Tang,
Okay.
Gangstar, Hyro, Visionaries.
Yeah.
I was never really into solo projects as much. Like
Sure.
I was more like, I just like how people connect and they're on
Yeah.
they're on the same page. For some reason, they're on like
Good point.
it's a weird dynamic, right? When you hear like a duo or a group or like all the collabs you did,
Yeah.
you
I
got
like. You're right. I like that too, man. That's a good point.
yeah. So like I never really made solo records back in the days. Him
Yeah.
either. So we kind of started off just doing stuff together,
Yeah.
and I
It's
was
fun.
surprised that he wanted to make music with me because I'm just like,
Yeah.
it's not like we asked, it just happened.
Yeah.
So it's not like we planned it. It just happened
Okay.
off
Yeah.
of
It's
just
fun,
pure
man.
boredom, you know.
Ah, that's cool. Were you guys? Did you guys do a lot of music before the first album that you guys released, or was it straight into that
We
album?
did. No, yeah. We had so much unreleased stuff, man, to a
Oh
point
shit.
where like I don't know how we did it, man. We were recording every weekend. We were recording like 3 or 4 joints.
Oh, dude.
Every time I came back from base or I was on Libo, I used to just kick it with Profound.
Yeah.
You know, um, you know that was like pretty much my life. Like every time I had an
Yeah.
opportunity to go back to LA when I was not working, I'm in Profound's garage, just knocking
Yeah.
out these joints, and
No.
it went from recording on the Mac, the not no MacBook or iMac. It was just like this elementary style Apple computer.
I was gonna ask you what
To
program you
to
guys
like
used.
one day, me and Profound saying, "Hey, let's go to Guitar Center and let's just buy a mic
Oh.
and a preamp. And how do we do this preamp thing? Oh, okay, dope. You know." And then
Yeah.
and then obviously he was more the tech guy,
Okay.
and like he knew how to make the beats on Reason.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So he was making all these beats on Reason, and I'm all like, man, I feel so guilty. I gotta be involved. So we got the preamp and the mic, and that's when like, and I we fucked up too. Fuck. Sorry, excuse my French, but
It's all good.
we bought this like digital mic that like kind of fucked over our whole first album because we didn't realize it was more like a USB mic, you
Okay.
know?
So the
So it
sound
was,
was different.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it was just a
That's
learning
right.
curve. It was just a
That's right.
learning curve, you know? We had no homies who recorded professionally. No,
Yeah.
we didn't even know anybody.
Yeah.
So we went from like mics to this, and then until we released Envisioning Sound, that's
Woo!
that's when like I think like I don't know, like I trip out because I listen to that project. I'm like, man, how the hell did I write all that stuff? How did I record? I totally forgot. Like I'm just like, yo, that's so cool how all those trials and errors led up to that project,
Yeah.
but
Fuck
it
yeah.
came from the learning experiences and the trial and errors from our first ever project
Yeah.
called Freedom and Liberty Part
Part
One, and
one. Yep.
it was like, but if you hear the recordings, they were so like boo boo compared to Envisioning Sound. Like they were
It
just,
was.
it was like you could tell we were like just in our rookie phases
Yeah.
in mixing and mastering, and we didn't even master anything. We were just recording it, putting it
Yeah.
out. Like levels are off, levels are different, but who cares? Let's just put it out
That's
because if we
right,
don't
man.
put it out, we're not on to the next, you
Yeah.
know. And then, but Envisioning Sound, that was a project where like we're all a little older now. We both got our cribs. I got the studio in my garage. I got the soundproofing and stuff
Yeah.
like that. We got the preamp. We got
Yeah.
you know, but we never really used Pro Tools. We used something called Mixcraft.
Yeah. I remember. Yep. That's
Yeah.
dope, man.
So that's
Yeah.
all we used. We were making beats on Reason and then recording on Mixcraft and then
Okay.
like somehow just making it happen.
Yeah.
And then the recordings came out so crisp. It's because I learned how to like edit and master. Like I didn't learn, I just learned from the trials and errors.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
right.
ended up mixing the whole project on my time, on like my off time. And then like, so Profound didn't really need to do much of the engineering because he would just focus on just the lyrics and
Yeah.
the beats. And I was more focused on like mixing and polishing and mastering and
Okay.
with Mixcraft and whatever that program was, man, it was a blessing in disguise because it was the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
It
Hey,
was-
did Profile make the beats for both Freedom and Liberty Part One and Envisioning Sound, or did you do production for that too?
no, I did no beats on Freedom and Liberty. He did all the beats until Envisioning
Yeah.
Sound, until that's when like he let me kind of like, okay, hey, let's use, some of your beats and then we'll use most of my beats. But I'm on some of the beats,
Okay.
and m- the, and you could tell. And the good thing is like the dope thing, you could tell my style beats and then his style beats.
Hmm.
So I was kind of shocked when he wanted to rhyme over my beats. I was like, no way, you really dig this beat? And I knew Profound, like he doesn't rhyme over nothing. Like he doesn't want to rhyme over anything that's not dope, you know? So like but then, I learned from him from the sample first
Yeah.
to, it's always a sample,
That's right.
once you hear like a sample, and we
You
used to
know.
always fuck with movie scores. So like we were like always movie buffs. I think he was
Yeah.
a movie buff. I was a movie buff. So back in the days, I used to remember like when I started making beats,
Yeah.
because of the fact that like Profound used to flip so many dope samples, that inspired me to like watch movies. And then like instead of people like, skipping the credits, I'm watching the credits
All right. To hear the
to
music.
hear
Yeah.
like just dope little samples that I feel like I could flip.
That's right.
And then like I show Profound, yo, look at this sample. I think we could flip this. And then he's like, all right, well, you make the beat then. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll make the beat. I've seen you make hundreds of beats, so I kind of know how to do it now.
Okay.
And then slowly but surely, I started making most of the beats later on. But
Oh, that's dope,
but
man.
that was for like my solo stuff and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But mainly, he gets all the credit for the production. That's because like anything he was doing was just fresh and it was so different. And like I like to make music like it got to the point where I have a certain ear, so it makes sense that we you know graduated to Envisioning Sound because that came from all of our influences.
Yeah.
We listen to y'all, we listen to Hyro, we listen to you know Andre Nicotina, we listen to
Yeah.
Gangstar from Group Home. So that project is a mixture of East Coast, West Coast sound. It wasn't so West Coast, it wasn't so East Coast. It was just like
Oh.
our shit. It was a
Yeah. Yeah.
combination of just our shit, you know?
Yeah.
And I think we made like some some different stuff,
Yeah.
but I thought it was like more of a soft album, but then we had some hardcore stuff on there.
Nah,
But I'm
that's
kind of
some
I'm kind of
that's some banger.
surprised how like a lot of people gravitated to the music to a point where it gave me a lot of confidence as an MC. Like I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit. And then obviously when we were doing live shows, we had that connection too. So
Yeah. It was good. The chemistry between you two on stage is really good, man.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. So,
yeah.
we like doing live shows, and that's, to this day, I throw shows. So a lot of people
Yeah.
don't know, when I do these concerts right now, I've been doing concerts. You met the first day I met you, I was throwing a concert for us,
Yeah. That's
right?
right, man.
So, I come from a cloth where, if they're not booking us, we're gonna throw our own concert.
That's right. Do your own shit, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so I'm a strong advocate for that because I've been there. I've been through the trenches. We funded our own CD, you know, printing, our distribution. We try to put our
Mhm.
CDs in stores and with no press, and we were thinking we were too dope that we didn't need press, and so once our egos got into like intertwined with our music, I think that's when we kind of, you know, slow down a bit because it just tough because we had this like healthy ego about us, like,
Yeah.
we know we got good music, we know we got the presentation, but I kind of felt like we just didn't have a platform to
Mhm.
promote this, and that's what inspired me to move on to my next venture, which is
Yeah.
the blog,
That's
you
right.
know which is the blog, because I came up as a big fan of this East Coast website called undergroundhiphop.com.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Everybody knows about that website, right? The little
Yeah.
baby, the little logo, right? It was
Uh-huh.
like a baby with like a b-boy kid.
Yeah.
So I grew up buying music from there, you know, buying vinyl merch. Like that's where like I was hitting up those forums, and that's where my inspiration came from. I was a customer. I used to buy all my CDs from there. They even sold my CDs there.
Yeah.
I remember when we first released Freedom and Liberty and Envisioning Sound, like my goal was to get it sold on undergroundhiphop.com. Like that was my vision.
I love it.
And then we made it happen, you know? But once that website kind of dwindled down, I'm just like, man, they have no blog. They usually just, if they do promote anything, they promote nothing but East Coast stuff. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing West Coast about this blog. Or it wasn't even a blog. We all know it was like a store, undergroundhiphop.com. It
Okay.
was mainly just a place to buy vinyl and new music.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know how I got into blogging, but that's
And
really a good.
how'd you come up with the name too, man? Like that's usually the tough part too, right? To come up with the name for the blog. I mean, yeah. What was the story when you were kind of deciding what I'm gonna call this thing, right?
Man, it's because I used to submit music. So, Profound could tell you I was more of the business accolade of the two. I
I could
have the
see
business
that.
accolades where like I'm the one doing the submissions, trying to get us, promoted, you know. So
Yeah.
because of the ego we had, like, yo, we're dope. Why aren't these blogs posting us?
Yeah.
Maybe they have some sort of bias, or they mess with their own people.
That's right. That's right.
They mess with their own people, you know. And so I used to always like submit to underground hip hop blogs. So when we released Envisioning Sound, obviously DSPs didn't even exist,
Yeah. That's right.
right? Like it was like streaming was non-existent. It's either LimeWire, how do you get your project on LimeWire? I don't know. Right?
Yeah.
Like I didn't even know.
Yeah.
And
It
then
was. You're right. It was. You were hoping that you could send it into one of those websites and they would do a review of some
yes,
sort, and that would be your exposure. It was really
yeah,
tough, though. I agree with you.
yeah, it was real tough. So, you know, so you know, it makes more sense when I explain it where, I was Googling the words underground hip hop blogs.
Okay.
So I used to Google those words like all the time
Oh,
and
that's
try to
crazy.
find like the best underground hip hop blogs. Obviously, I'm not Googling hip hop blogs
Yeah. Yeah.
because, that wasn't really, I'm an underground. We're underground. We got that sound,
Yep.
you know? So I would rather promote myself on these websites.
Okay.
So all it took is for me to, get that no, or get ignored for the handful of times and just ask myself, why this, why that? But why am I asking myself why? Why don't I just, you know what? Let me just put those 4 words together and add a .com. And
There
let me
you
see
go,
if
man.
that works.
Yeah.
You know? And I told myself, fuck. But it kind of sounds like undergroundhiphop.com in the East Coast. So I'm gonna just make it so different to a point where I'm not gonna sell nothing. It's just gonna be a blog because they have no blog.
Right.
Like they have no blog. So I was thinking to myself, okay, this is legit. It's a common phrase. And I Google this a lot. So I knew nothing about SEO. So I'm thinking to myself, wait up. If I put these words together and I add a .com, odds are my website will probably pop up if people
Sure.
Google the words underground hip hop.
That's right.
And it was more like a instinct.
That's right.
I knew nothing about SEO, you know? And so I launched it and I learned WordPress. I just remember like Googling what's the best way to launch a blog. And then it was
Okay.
WordPress,
Oh yeah.
you know?
Yeah. That's right. I remember too. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm like,
Uh-huh.
what the fuck is WordPress? And then I had to learn WordPress. And then I remember when I bought my first hosting plan, I
Uh-huh.
launched the website. The homie Profound. At the time, I was hanging out with Profound a lot, Pause One a lot.
Yep.
And then I remember I was making music with y'all. I
Yep.
was really like heavily involved with y'all.
Yep.
And then the first person I told them when I bought the domain, the first person I told was Hypoetical.
Yeah.
I called
That's
him up and I
awesome.
was like, yo, Hype, check this out. I got this domain, underground hip hop blog. What do you think? He's all like, oh shit, that's just pretty cool. Like, all right, run with it, you know? And
Uh-huh.
like, and I think I asked you too. I was like, hey, what do you think about it? And then I
Yeah.
asked just random heads, like, yo, what do you think about it? And then, I got tired of just asking people what they think about it. I just need to move on it,
That's right.
you know?
That's right,
And
man.
that's when, and then obviously the first ever post I ever did was Acid Rain.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was a review, right?
Yeah, it was like a review on
Uh-huh.
one of Gaja's joints. Like he released like a project,
Okay.
and then it was just I happened to have it in, on, that's when Bandcamp barely started.
Okay.
And I used to consume music from Bandcamp. I was like, yo, this is the shit. Like I love Bandcamp. Like I could stream all the free music I want.
Yeah.
Bandcamp was like the first ever Spotify, I think.
Yeah,
Like,
I think so.
right? That's what
Like a
I
music hosting site, man.
Yeah, yeah. So when I saw that, I was uploading my music on Bandcamp. I was like, yeah, finally there's something out there that like people could hear our music for free,
Yeah.
Because that's what I wanted. I just wanted people to hear our music.
Yeah.
And then I used to find other artists on there. I'm like, yo, who are this guy? Who's this guy? Who's this guy? And then I found Gaja from Acid Rain. I was like,
Okay.
okay, he's dope. I grew up listening to Acid Rain.
Yep.
And then let me just write my first post and see if Gaja like sees it. And let me just like MySpace him or something like, hey, look, I did this.
MySpace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did this post and look. And then he shared it. And I'm like, oh, dope. Like he shared it. Okay, so that means if I blog about more artists, they might share my article too. And I didn't realize that the domain was so potent that people just respected the brand off the top,
Nice.
you know?
Nice.
So it wasn't like a brand, like it was more like a cheat code. It was more like
Right.
I had
Right.
an alley oop.
It's the words, right? It
Yes.
like it just brought you there naturally, right? So if you did
Yes,
the
it gave it
search,
that authority
yeah,
that a typical blog wouldn't get.
which is smart, man. Smart. It's marketing, right? So
Yeah, and I had no I'd never put the two and two together. Like I said,
yeah,
the whole idea is because I was always Googling those 4 words and I just put them together with a .com.
sure.
So because I just had an itch feeling like, okay, if I launch this website, watch in a couple months, it's gonna be like right there when you Google underground hip hop, and maybe people will find our music. And my whole goal was to promote our music,
That's right.
your music, uh, the stuff in my CD case,
Yeah.
like
Create your platform, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I used to never really take submissions. I used to just always just blog about what I like,
Yeah.
you know, until the day when like, artists started tweeting the publications on the blog, and the next thing you know, that's when we started like getting attention, or just me per se. I was getting attention from from MCs and rappers that I never even knew existed. They're
Yeah,
like,
that's great.
hey, we see you blogging about those guys. How can we get on?
Yeah, sure.
And that's when I kind of felt like, wow, I got something going now. Now, like they're seeking me out, and I'm never solicited. And that's the one thing about underground hip hop blog to this day that I take pride in. Is like I've never been that dude who like hits you up with a DM. Hey, you need promo?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
you
sure
know?
I'm sure it comes naturally now just based
Yeah,
on, yeah, I mean just the
yeah. Like
population of
like most,
followers is
yeah,
outstanding.
most platforms are like, as soon as you hit up their contact page, or like even on their social media handles, it says, hey, this is our platform, but if you need promo, hit up this email. I've
Yeah.
never done that. I've always just kept it like, yo, just hit up Underground Hip Hop Blog. You see what you get. And if you need promo, I guess just hit us up on our contact page.
Yeah.
I'll randomly check the email. If I don't, I'm sorry. I'm a human. I'm not really. So it's more, and I could say this: Underground Hip Hop Blog is an artist first platform. I'm an MC. I'm a producer. So I've been in the trenches. I've been indie distributor. I've thrown my own shows. You've witnessed it.
Yeah.
Witnessed it. We brought you guys out. And you were happening enough to be willing to come out to LA
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, that was
Um,
great.
and then I've always kept that a professional approach to it. No matter if it's a show, no matter if it's a publication, I'm always going to try to be as professional as I can, because
Most definitely.
I want to show the same respect they show me, and vice versa. But we all have our informal, immaturities. But for some reason, I kind of feel like my military experience helped that leadership, fill in that leadership role for
Yeah.
my blog, to a point where, you know, I got a certain different vibe from professionals. Like, okay, he's a military dude. Okay, okay, now it makes sense. This dude is just a DIYer. You
Mm.
know, so it's a DIY underground hip hop blog, but I'm an artist for. It was an artist first platform. Most of these
Yeah.
blogs are like just regular heads creating a blog. They're fans of something. They never made a record in their life. You know,
Mm.
and they want to come in and write reviews and stuff. That's all good, but I kind of feel like I take a little bit more pride, because I understand the creative aspect of making music, and I respect I respect any MC who makes something out of nothing.
Yeah. 100%,
And that's
man.
what the blog is. The
Yeah.
blog was literally, it came from nothing.
Yeah.
I never had a handout. It wasn't given it to me. I didn't buy the company from somewhere else.
Yeah.
It was more like, it
Ground
was,
up.
yeah, ground up.
That's right.
And I'm blessed enough that you witnessed it. So,
Yeah, I did, man. And let me say this too, man, is that I saw it when it first started, and it was very heavy in California type MCs, and then now as I've watched it grow, oh man, it's a global platform, man. So I'm super proud of you, what you did with it, and the platform you created for people to showcase their music is phenomenal. So congratulations just on that itself, man. And it's amazing, man. I see rappers from all over the world. I see rappers rapping in Spanish, and just the people that you showcase. That's fantastic, man. It's just
wow, man, coming from you, bro. And
yeah.
and you know what? If it wasn't for you guys, though, maybe this platform would have never existed. So,
I don't know about
you got
that.
to credit yourself too, man, because you
That's
had
great.
a great influence on my decision making and just the way I live life. And other than that, man, credit to all the people who I grew up listening to, and
Mhm.
gave me that good sense of, obviously, music knowledge, that particular ear
Yeah.
that caters to the underground scene.
Yeah.
Now, to be honest, man, the underground hip hop, it grew so much in my 10 years of doing this, that you know I could be always stuck in this whole boom bap era and stuff like that. But now it's like you said, I've been able to make this platform to give a
Yeah.
platform to people from other cities, other markets, who don't
That's right.
sound like West Coast dudes,
Yep. I love
you
it,
know,
man.
and they don't sound like East Coast dudes. So I had to break out of that shell
Yeah.
of like, oh, this is not a boombap.com. It's not
That's right.
a 90s hip hop.com. It's an underground hip hop.com,
Okay.
blog.com. So it's like technically, if you're not on the radio and you're indie and you're on the grind, you're underground.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to sound like KRS-One or Mob Deep, So when I was getting those submissions from Texas, it was kind of like difficult for me to listen to all this music, and I'm like,
Well, to break out of your shell, right?
yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
imagine.
yeah, because and that's the tough thing about being an artist and trying to run this platform.
I see that, dude. That
Yeah,
is challenging.
but it's like these people are hitting me up. They're finding me on Google.
Yeah.
And like, it'll be very disrespectful for me to ignore these people because I guess I'm the only platform they got.
Or yeah, and ignore them because they don't sound like you, right? But you got to give it a chance and listen and be open to it, right?
Yeah. And like down
Yeah.
south, we all know how down south music sounds is different, and the music coming out of Florida is different.
Yep.
Music coming out of Brooklyn is different. Music coming out the Midwest is different. Chicago, typical cats, and then you guys got, Florida, you got Puya, Texas, you got, people who grew up listening to, the Ghetto Boys,
Yeah.
they grew up,
Mexico.
yeah, Mexico. You got cats grew up listening to Paul Wall submitting to me, but then we got people got influenced by Pac and Snoop and Biggie, and they got the little commercial style, but they're still underground because they're still grinding, they're independent. So it
Yeah.
went from like a boom bap approach to like, you know what, let me just show love to everybody. And then
Yeah.
once I started doing that, it was just a domino effect.
Yeah. I love the diversity in the music that you showcase. It's good.
Yeah, so I do bite my lip a lot, but it's not my platform.
Yeah.
It's now it's like it's a public platform now because
Yeah.
I'm so easy to find now.
Okay.
Man, when you just Google the words underground hip hop, all you pretty much see is Wikipedia and us.
Yeah.
And then the old website undergroundhiphop.com just faded away, man.
Well, let me ask you this real quick, man. So you started off writing reviews, and you still do reviews, and there are two things that I like that you guys do. One is that you host a live MC session where they get to spit verses, and you record and do videos. And I think they're filmed by your twin brother, right? Forgot to mention Mondo, man. Shout out to Mondo, man.
My brother,
Uh,
man. So he used to always hold me down, man. He went everywhere with me. So
yeah. So
he
what
started
was
getting.
oh, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he started getting involved when he saw the traction
Okay.
of the blog.
Yeah. So what fueled you to decide to do those live sessions? Was it experimental at first, or just like,
Pure
hey, I'm gonna expand
experimental.
the brand? Who was the
Pure.
first one?
Our first ever mic session with a kid called Self Provoke.
Oh shit! I don't. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kid called Self Provoke. The thing is, man, I remember when I was blogging from home a couple years into it,
Okay.
I always told myself I had a vision. And this is the same room. Like I created the blog in the same room, the third bedroom of my house. It's a little office, this little man cave, you
Yeah.
know. And I remember I told myself, you know what? If this takes off, I would love to have an office in downtown LA. And if I do have an office in downtown LA, I'm probably gonna put a logo on the wall and have, probably have MCs rap in front of it.
I like it.
Because that's like my vision.
Yeah. Those are fun. Oh man.
So that was like my vision. And then obviously Profound, he gets down, he ended up becoming like an entrepreneur doing printing and stuff like that. So he has this big decal machine.
Yeah. Oh, that's what put it on. Oh, okay, he did that, huh?
Yeah. So
I
he has
remember that.
he has this big decal machine. So
Yeah.
me, I was making money on the blog now. So, through publishing and ads and just MCs, you know, wanting me to go above and beyond what I already do.
Yeah.
So I don't make money like posting music. I really don't. Like I post music all the time. If it's dope, if I like it, if it, you know, if it, if it gets through, the platform to the platform properly, odds are I promote it. We only make money when MCs or labels or publicists want us to like be on their rollouts and campaigns, and
Sure.
because at that point, you know, if y'all want us to be part of your rollouts, then obviously, it has to be incentivized for us.
Okay.
So that came naturally.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask me, how do you make money off the blog? Well, put in the work, and then the industry will come to you. That's all I
Yeah.
say. You know, if you don't
Nice.
put in the work, then the industry's not going to come.
So are they paying for sponsorship? Is that them so that they can put their logo on your events
Not
vice versa?
necessarily. Not necessarily. I'm just blessed because I have these ads on my website, so I get pretty
Oh,
good
got it.
traction. Yeah,
That's right.
on the so any like that's why I tell MCs a lot, yo, like if I post you for free, I would appreciate if you get on my website, share the post, and then
Yeah.
like click on a few ads.
Yeah.
I'm not trying, click on that Chevy ad. I'm not saying that you're gonna buy that Chevy, but a click goes a long way.
Sure.
5 cents, 10 cents, and then next
That's
thing you know,
up.
when I got 100 dudes clicking on ads, then it helps me out. And then obviously, um, I got this office.
Yeah.
Office just pure boredom. I'm just like, yo, I gotta stop doing this from my house. Like rappers are not gonna want to get interviewed in this bedroom.
Oh, right, right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Good point.
let me go find something for a G or something. So I'm like, okay, I got a budget for a G a month, this and that. That's just, I'm not making much money.
Is it in
Like,
the same place, your current office in the same place since when you started? Or
yeah,
did you? Oh,
this is my third bedroom office. Yeah, in my house. So when I first got my first office, it was like in the hood in LA. In the hood, I found some spot for like a G a month, and I'm like,
uh-huh.
okay, we're gonna move there. Rampart Division, the
Okay.
infamous Rampart Division, of Los Angeles.
Okay.
So once I moved in there, it was just a blank space, and the first person I called was Profound. Yo, Profound, let's make a big decal of the
Okay.
logo, you know, and just pull up and put it on the wall.
That's a big
And
ass logo too.
yeah, so he made it.
Yeah.
So he came up with a big ass logo, like, yo, and I'm like, yo, that's too big, but whatever. Let's just put it up
Yeah.
because I wanna start inviting MCs for like on camera interviews.
That's right.
And I remember like because of the brand and because of the name, it came somewhat natural because then like I started just hitting up people that I grew up listening to. Anno Domini. I remember like he's one of my favorite producers of all time.
Yeah.
And he gave me a big alley oop because the dude doesn't even like doing interviews.
Oh,
But I,
nice.
but I found out he lived in LA. He like flew from Germany. I don't know where he's from. I know he's like a overseas cat.
Okay.
And he's more like literally one of my favorite producers of all time. Like if I wasn't listening to Profound beats, I would listen to Anno Domini beats
Okay.
on YouTube.
Oh.
And I remember I reached out to him like, hey, dude, like I got this office, I got this, I just put up my logo. I would love for you to like pull up, and I would love to be, you be one of my first on-camera interviews. I'm a big fan. I don't want to interview like the homies, you
Yeah.
know. He pulled up, and that really inspired me to like move on to bigger and better things. So I'm like, yo, if I could get him, and for him to like look at my brand and give me enough respect and validity to even pull up, let me start reaching out to cats.
Yeah.
So then it was like it just became a domino effect. So after the first live interview or on-camera interview to the first mic session,
Yeah.
and you know how the content game is. Once you put out the content,
Yeah.
then people start asking and inquiring.
That's right.
So these mic sessions were just off of pure boredom. Hey, let's just do something with this logo.
Yeah.
And
And
keep in mind,
you guys had no experience editing film either, too. I
yep.
remember, man, like the first time, and you guys were telling me, we're just trying to figure it out, and it was awesome, man.
Yeah, in our first ever mic session, we had no lighting. Like we were just
Yeah.
using the office lights. So if you see like the self-provoked mic session, it's all dark and stuff like that. And we had to
Yeah.
open up the curtains of the office, and
Uh-huh.
but like I said, it's a blessing, man, and it's a blessing because I feel like God was working with me the whole time. Like, hey,
Yeah.
just do like this is what you need to do. For some reason, that was my path. You
Yeah.
know, after everything I did with the military, but even my homies in the military could tell you, I was always that hip hop dude.
Yeah.
Even on patrol, I'm on patrol. I'm talking about, on patrol. Like
Yeah.
my mind should be on the mission, but no, I'm like getting
Listening to
my,
hip hop.
my iPod mini that I bought at the PX in Kuwait and like figure out a way to put this music from LimeWire to this iPod, this new technology. And I'm like, yo, this iPod thing is dope.
Yeah.
Like,
Were you in Iraq and Afghanistan or just Iraq?
no, just Iraq. I went to Iraq twice in 2004 and 2007. I
Okay.
bought my first ever iPod in 2007.
Okay. All right. Let me.
You-
Did you bump Memphis Reigns in Iraq, dude? Did he make it to Iraq
Yeah,
airwaves?
yeah.
Just kidding.
Scorpion Circles, of course. Yeah, Scorpion Circles
I'm making it
and
to
Mind
Iraq.
Mechanics.
Hell yeah.
That made it. That made it to Iraq, and I used to be that dude. Like, yo, like I remember I used to like run into Cali heads, and they're like, "Yo, we listen to Living Legends and Hyro." I'm like, "Bro, you never heard of these cats from Santa Cruz, man? Like, it's Memphis Rain, General X, Son of Ran," and they're like, "Nah, I never heard of them." I'm like, "Here," and then like I'm burning your CD to give to them,
Right on, man.
you
That's
know.
funny.
And I came across you guys from a burnt CD.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I never saw no Scorpion on the CD. I was like, "Yo." Some dudes told me y'all were dope, and I said, "Yo, shoot me the stuff." And I'm like, and then I became hooked.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, I'm
know,
glad we hooked up, man. So it was great. I think we hooked up after your first deployment, maybe your second, or maybe you were out already, out of the military when we hooked up. I can't
no,
remember.
no, no. It was after my first deployment because
Okay.
I was still in the military when I think I went to the Bay, and I remember I did a show with y'all, and yeah, I was on
Oh
leave. I think,
shit.
and
Yeah.
then I think I was talking to him like, "Yeah, I'm about to get out."
Okay. So
You
we caught
know?
you at that point. I remember you can't. Yeah, we did the show in San Francisco, and I think it was like 5 or 6 of us that slept in one hotel room right after the show.
Yeah,
That
and then I was
was
just as
dope.
surprised that you were in the military too, because I remember like,
Oh, that's right.
I remember
Yeah.
there was like a forum and people were asking whatever happened to Memphis Reigns, and like it was
Yeah.
like a mystery.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, somehow I found out you were in the military, and I just wanted to verify, like, hey, and then somehow I think I reached out to you somehow,
Yeah.
either on Facebook during the early
My
days
it
or
was MySpace, dude,
MySpace.
for sure.
It was MySpace.
For
And I
sure.
reached out to you, and you reached out back, and then I think it was that military respect, like,
Yeah, it
okay,
was the natural connection,
okay.
man.
And I was hoping y'all were thinking our music was dope, and I just wanted to show y'all my music.
Was dope, man.
I never asked you guys to like collab or nothing. I was like, yo, I would just
No,
love for you to check out our shit,
no.
And then you hit us up like weeks later, like, yo, let's make something. And then
Yeah, and you
Profound was all like, let's do it. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And then that was, thank God, that was during the day where like we kind of found our style, and like we were kind of way better than we were in the past, you know?
yeah, you invited me to do Narrow Minded, right? I did that track with you. You guys sent it to me, and I remember getting it in North. I can't remember where I was at, but hey, you sent the track, and I recorded it like pretty quick, man. So yeah, and then yeah, was able to get on that album, and then we got Age Roll to be on that other song, and I can't
Yeah.
remember the song, but we ended up featuring two on 2 tracks for
Oh
that
no,
album.
no. Y'all both are on Narrow Minded, and then we did Progression.
Oh, Progression. Okay, that's right.
Yeah. Progression was the solo joint you did with us, and then
Yeah,
Narrow Minded with both of y'all. So it's like,
yeah,
for us to have My Mechanics just in general on our project, we were just like, we've just felt accomplished as it was. We're like, oh man, come on, you can't even beat this. Because, bro, at the end of the day, imagine, no matter how big people are or how small, like when you listen to a certain group and they influence you, and then for us to have those dudes on our album, it's like dope. I'm like, oh my God, like who gets that opportunity? Not a lot of MCs experience that,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, and you guys put out that album Envisioning Sound, which was your second album, and you guys know I freaking love Envisioning Sound. The title track to that album is probably one of my favorite songs of all time. And I know we performed it. Well, actually, you guys performed it in San Francisco, and you guys called me on stage to go rap it with you guys because I fucking love that song so much. And I got to sing some of your guys' verses. That was great, man. That's
Yeah,
such a
and that
fun
was my
show,
first
man.
time, like, yeah, and that
Rockin'
album
Frisco.
right there, that album got circulated, dude. Like the way y'all's album got circulated with Scorpion Circles and
Yeah.
Mind Mechanics, like how that got circulated, I kind of feel like that the Envisioning Sound project, it got circulated through like the Burn CD, as through the last, when the Burn CD era was coming down.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like the Visiting Sound, like when people grab that CD, I heard there were people were burning it, giving it to other people, and I'm like, yo, that's dope. While most
Yeah.
cats were like, oh no, don't burn my stuff. No,
Yeah.
I was all about making people listen to the broad project, and to this day, people say like, yo, that project is like a classic, and I'm like, man, I just feel like it was dope because the way me and Profound, like how we gravitated to that project, it just made sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like to this day, that's our most potent stuff. And I think about it, I'm like, yo, most people's stuff are potent when they're in their early 20s. Like that's the most potent stuff. Sometimes I think your guys' catalog too. Like y'all were making that stuff in your early 20s, right? Or no?
Yeah, I think early 20s too was that it was a raw and unfiltered sound, right? So it's
Yeah, yeah,
not still trying to figure it out, right? And
yeah, yeah.
it's it's always some of your greatest stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like I remember like the homie Pause One was telling me, like, yo, like when I listened to y'all's project, y'all didn't sound like y'all just started rapping yesterday,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
what was Paul? Did Pause rap after you guys, or was he already rapping before you guys?
He was already rapping, doing his own thing,
Oh,
doing his
okay.
own thing. And then I just came across his music one time. I sent him a quick DM.
Yeah,
Same stuff. I showed him my music and he thought we were, dope.
yeah.
And then he ended up getting on the album too.
Yeah, I remember.
You
Cause
know,
y'all
so
is he from Downey too, like y'all?
I think he's from Norwalk. Well, he's
Oh,
from my
Norwalk. I'm
same
sorry.
area. He's from
Okay.
my same, part of town.
Yeah,
And then he was there during the whole blog process too. I remember
yeah,
he was the one giving us a lot of ideas about the logo, and it was like me, Profound, and Pause One, and we were all right there like trying to make the logo for the blog.
that's right.
I made one logo, Pause made another, Profound made another, and we were just like, just drafting these logos and yeah, and to this day, I'm so grateful that the logo that the homies helped me make, it's like embedded in thousands of people's heads now.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
that's yeah, that's a super big thing, man. Just the blog and just the impact that it's had in the in the culture
and
in
I'm
general,
and I'm
man.
not the best blogger, bro. Like there's a lot of flaws that we do. We're not as consistent as most blogs, and we don't really clout chase, and we don't really do gossip as much as I want to get into the gossip game and like, hey, this
Yeah,
rapper married this girl, or this rapper goes to jail, or you
yeah.
know,
Ah,
like
that's good, man.
yeah, like so I kind of feel like because it's the artist first platform,
Yeah.
I don't have to go that route. I just want to
No.
keep all I want to do is keep promoting new music, unheard artists, write our reviews,
Yeah.
and do our little Q&As,
Yeah.
and that's it. Like, why would I want to put gossip on underground hip hop blog?
Yeah,
You-
I like it. I learn a lot about new artists through your mic sessions too, right? Because I'm like, oh shit, what is it? Oh, this is dope.
And these
And then
mic
start
sessions too.
following them. Yeah.
The mic sessions got inspired. Um, there is an inspiration to these mic sessions. When I envisioned these mic sessions, I wanted to
Yeah.
take it back to the AOL session days. I don't know if you ever remember the AOL sessions.
No, I don't think I've seen the AOL session, dude. Something similar though, right? Where the
Yeah,
recording. Okay.
where like the
Got it.
AOL, it was AOL, the logo was in the back,
Uh
and
huh.
they had like a little stage. And this is when like streaming barely started, dude,
Okay.
you know? And I saw Kanye West and Paul Wall performing Ride Slow,
Oh shit, dope.
you know? And then I'm all like, yo, that right there is dope. So I remember when obviously that was like throwback stuff. When we did these mic sessions, I'm like, look, everybody's doing ciphers, everybody's doing radio freestyle. Sway already has that on lock.
Yeah.
You know, these ciphers is like five rappers that think they're all better than each other in one take. And then I've seen like how dudes who edit the ciphers, it's a nightmare because everybody has to do one take. And if one person F's up, they got to
You
do
gotta
it
do it
all over.
again. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I've been in situations where I knew some dudes with cipher platforms, and I see the stress. Like, man, this last rapper just effed it up for everybody. Now everybody got to do it again.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. So let me just focus on the record. Let's just tell people to pull up and just perform a record off their new album.
Yeah.
That's it. Simple mic session. They're
Yeah.
not freestyles. They're not, off the top. They're not ciphers.
Yeah.
Um, we're different. Just spit a song off your record, and then I think it's a great way to promote your album because we
Yeah.
got this platform where now everything's going visual.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, I've came across legends that pulled up to us,
Yeah.
from group home to
Yeah.
Necro to AC Alone to
Quell. That
to
was a good one.
Quail.
Yeah.
Quail. Like that's rare, right?
Yeah.
Like and these dudes don't even like doing nothing on camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Those are
they
good
but they
ones.
do it for the brand. They do it because they know the vision. They understand. Like this is for us. This is for us,
Yeah.
right? Like Quail would never do a mic session for a DX or a complex or, you know, a bigger entity. But they'll do it for us because they understand that this platform is not mine, it's not theirs, it's for a community of people who need it,
Oh man.
you
So
know. And like you said, you find a lot of great artists on Underground Hip Hop Blog,
for
not
sure.
just from our publishing, but from our mic sessions. And that's the
Yeah.
whole point, is to keep these MCs relevant. Like if I grew up listening to you, I'm gonna invite you. If you don't come, I don't care. I don't take nothing personal.
Yeah.
But if you do come, great. Let's get you on, and hopefully fans remember who you are. If not, you make new fans. Um, and if you're an unknown artist, best believe this is a great platform for you to. If you kill your mic session,
Yeah.
best believe you're gonna get 100 new fans.
MC Wicks, baby, killed his session.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, and sometimes the way to get on is just by referrals. So, like, we don't even like if somebody usually DMs us like, "Yo, I'm trying to get on a mic session," it's kind of tough. So, like now it's more like word of mouth. Like you recommended somebody to me,
Yeah.
MC Wicks. It took me, a couple weeks to like check them out, but the second I did check them out, like you weren't really like pressing them on me. You were just like, "Yo, just check this dude out."
Sick.
And
Yeah.
then when I had time to check him out, I was like, "Okay, he's dope.
Yeah.
I'm
Hundred
gonna invite him
percent.
one day. If I ever catch him out there somewhere, I'm gonna invite him." And
Yeah.
that's how it happened. I saw him doing a show, and I'm like, "Hey, oh shit, you're the guy Memphis Ray talking about. Hey, pull up to my office. You're here in
Smashed
LA?"
it.
And he's from Fresno.
Yeah.
So it's like whenever I see an artist from another market going to breaking out of his comfort zone,
Yeah.
I always pay respect to those people, man,
Yeah. Yeah.
because they're out of their comfort zone. They're out here in LA networking. They're out here working.
Yeah.
They are here trying to
Shaman,
do,
Shaman cassette, man, too.
yeah, Shaman Cassette.
Woo.
And these are all people that you referred me.
Yeah. All
So it's
homies,
like
man. Killed
Memphis
it.
Reigns would not refer me anybody. Like you don't just refer me anybody. Like,
Yeah.
if I have a particular person that I respect, they all know my IQ in hip hop, and they all know my ear, and they all know like, okay, let me show Vic this, or let me show Convoy this,
Yeah.
you know. And I might not get to everything, but eventually they're gonna get put on.
Yeah.
They're
That's
gonna
dope,
get
man.
they're gonna get put on because somebody told me about you. So even to this day, when MCs are releasing their first album, or even like MCs who are just trying to get into the game, they meet me, or they meet my bro, or they meet Paz, or they meet, our photographer, or they meet somebody. And our whole code is like, yo, like they ask us, how do we get on? Like, how can I get on the blog? How can I get on one of your shows? How
Yeah.
can I get on those mic sessions? I would love to roll out the red carpet for everybody.
Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah,
It's hard though. Your
it's
time and
hard.
bandwidth is limited, but
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, you
and
do
it's
your
hard.
best.
And I always tell people the best way to get on is just have somebody else tell me about you. Bottom line, like that's like I think that's the most organic way to do it.
Yeah. Yo, let me ask you this, man. Why haven't you and Profound? Why haven't you guys done envisioning sound, man, as a mic session, dude? That needs to be captured. I think, bro. Y'all got to do it one day, man.
Oh, that
I hope.
song, like that song.
Yeah, I hope so. That's like my favorite. That's my favorite non-combatant song of all time, man. I would
Really?
love to see a mic session with that track. Hundred
Man,
percent.
I don't know, man. It just, only because we're involved so much with the blog, we're just
Yeah,
one of those dudes who's like, how
yeah.
are we gonna put ourselves on our own platform?
I
It's
know.
just
I know.
like like
I know.
you know what I'm saying? Like the perception. But
Yeah,
see, not
I want to
the
see
good
it
the
though.
good thing about the blog though, not many, like 99% of the people who go to the blog or know about it, they don't even know who runs it,
That's true, man.
you
That's
know?
true.
And I've kept it that way for a purpose, because it's not about me. It's not
Yeah,
about a particular individual. That's why I don't even play favoritism.
yeah,
Mostly a lot of most artists, they're grateful that I even, you know, give them a publication. It's like, one blog post. Sometimes, like I might, undervalue a blog post. Like to me now, at this point, like me putting somebody on the blog as a single or their new album is just another blog post to me.
yeah.
But I never realized, like, to them, it means so much.
It absolutely means the world, man. For
Yeah,
sure.
like, oh my God, like I got posted on Underground Hip Hop blog today. Wow.
Yeah,
They're not saying I got posted on Victor's blog or Convoy's blog. No, no, no. They're saying, yo, check me out. I'm on Underground Hip Hop Blog. Oh my God, I'm on their homepage.
Yeah.
And that's the equivalent. That's the result of all the hard work we put in,
Sure.
you know? And for people to pay us that much respect, and now it's not me no more. It's my brother. It's the homie Legends Never Dies, Ian. It's Point Blank, our photographer. It's Profound with the logo. Um, Pause One, he was doing some of the most legendary interviews back in the days in
Yeah.
hip hop with me.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
with us. You were there. You witnessed us. We were crashing out at your place, going to Texas, doing South by
Yeah.
Southwest.
I remember that.
And we were like,
I
and
forgot
you
about
knew,
that for a
like,
second.
and you knew me, dog. We were like I was mission focused. Like, look, we're only here because I'm trying to knock out these reviews in South by, or no, these interviews. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember y'all slept on the road too, and dude, and then we went to South by Southwest 2 nights in a
Yeah.
row, man.
And
That was the best.
and like I said, you have a great influence on me because you helped me a lot, man. You didn't need to let me crash at your crib, but at the end of the day, I already know you, man. You are not gonna let me crash nowhere else. If I'm like
Yeah,
in your area of town, bro, you're gonna be
yeah,
like, bro, just come to my crib,
absolutely,
you
man.
know? And
Absolutely.
and then you got to meet Paz, and then like we
Yeah,
all carpooled to South by, and then
yeah,
like
that
these
was the best. I
you
forgot about that.
and like as soon as we got to South by, you already knew I was on work mode,
Yeah,
like I'm trying to get interviews and Redmatic, and we were interviewing Hyro. And remember, I was telling you I was communicating with these people prior to that. I'm like, yo, I'm
yeah,
coordinating all these interviews. I just got to be there,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And then that's when
That's
we interviewed Copyright, Static
yep,
Selecta. We interviewed Sadistic.
yeah,
We interviewed Idea's mom,
yep,
and and these artists did it for the brand. And that's what like I love about Redmatic to this day. Like if I ever see Redmatic again, I'm like, yo, man, you gave me that big confidence booster.
yeah.
Like guys like you, like a lot of these artists don't realize the impact they had in my life, because sometimes I'm at the office doing these mic sessions. I'm like, oh my God, really? AC Alone is doing a mic session? No, I just can't believe this.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, it's surreal, man.
And and but like I said, I'm just grateful that it's more of a community platform now. It's like, and people support us. We release these hoodies, people buy our merch, all because they want to support the fact that we're a self-funded independent platform. I've
Okay.
never taken a sponsor deal, never really. I don't want to, the blog will never be in a situation where they're telling us what to do.
Yeah.
Underground hip hop is ran by like the people, so I want to keep it that way. And if I could represent the people in the best way possible, I'm going to do that. And I don't really promote none of that trap stuff or money floss and stuff. Like, there's platforms for that, you know any sort of money flossing or booty shaking or commercialized type stuff. Those platforms there's platforms for that. So I'm just so grateful that we have a home for boom bap, for conscious rap. Sometimes Christian hip hop is dope.
Yeah,
Dope.
Christian hip hop, experimental hip hop
Yeah,
is dope.
experimental hip hop.
Yeah,
Instrumental. Cats who are just still making instrumental albums.
yeah,
Producers. What platforms are there? And
yeah,
in the 10 years of doing this, I've seen a lot of platforms come and go too,
yeah.
and
Yo,
they dwindle down.
let me ask you too. What inspired you to throw a show finally, and what was your first show that you threw uh, under the blog?
The first show we ever threw was probably our own non-combatant show.
Under the underground hip hop blog? Oh, dope, man.
No,
Dope.
it was not even underground hip hop block show. It was just me and Profound just doing non-combatant shows,
Yeah.
and getting booked by homies who are promoters, not professional promoters. We're just homies throwing shows.
Yeah, but I mean,
But
eventually the blog, you guys started throwing your shows. The
okay, so
blog. Yeah.
the first ever official blog shows were at
Yeah.
South by.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
No kidding, huh?
Yeah, so those were the first official shows. I don't know if you remember the days where like, you know, if they're not talking about us, I'm gonna infiltrate. So back in the days on South by, there used to be unofficial showcases and official
That's right.
showcases.
On the bar, the strip of bars, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that year when I went with you,
Okay.
I was scouting.
That's a recon, baby. That's the recon.
And then I started putting the 2 and 2 together because I'm like, wait up, these wristbands, they only allow us to go to certain shows, but these other shows, they're letting anybody come in.
Yeah.
And I've kind of put the 2 and 2 together. So that year when we went to a what's that label? Copyrights label.
Hmm.
They were throwing a showcase.
Oh, the Man Bites Dog.
Man Bites Dog.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That was an unofficial showcase.
Okay.
So that wasn't an official show. It was just that label renting out a venue in the same city just to make something happen. So I kind of put the two together like, oh, okay, if I throw an unofficial show out here, I think that's the best way for me to brand or to make my brand known.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that was our first ever show. And I remember when I came back, I was scouting out venues, calling numbers like, yo, do you guys throw unofficial showcases or official? And there was a few venues that already had contracts with South by. And there was a handful of venues telling me, no, if you guys just pay the little fee, you know, you pay the rental, you'll be good. You know, you could throw whatever you want.
That's dope, man.
And then I remember our first ever South by show was Gavilan.
Oh, you serious? Oh
Yeah,
my gosh,
yeah.
she's so dope, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know,
she was your headliner.
She was my headliner.
Okay.
And we flew her out, and then like we actually didn't even fly her out. She carpooled with us.
Oh,
you know,
that's dope, man.
That's when she was on the grind.
Yeah.
And we headlined her, and then Acid Rain, and like, you know, just the same people that I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
You know, and then we put on Pause, and I think one year we did Rascat. So me doing those shows over there taught me a lot about the you know, how to throw a show, how to promote, the importance of RSVPs, the importance of a guest list.
Yeah.
And you know, when most promoters don't even want to have a guest list together because they want to make all the money at the door. No. You got to have a guest list.
The elements of business, yeah.
Yeah, the elements of business. Like, yo, if you don't have like a 50-person guest list, those are 50 promoters, technically. You know?
Sure.
Those are 50 people talking about the show, inviting their friends to the show.
That's a good point, man.
So that was, and how do you think South by always got packed? It's because it's just people telling other people, you know? So I took that formula to LA. I was scouting out LA to venues, and then the Catch one, to this day, I throw my shows there. So they, you know, I remember they told me, hey, you got to pay this fee and this and that. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to pay the fee. I'll pay the fee. I'll rent out the room. I got to pay for the headliner. I got to do this. I got to do that. And then, you know, logistically, once you put everything in place, you know, I always told myself, man, thank God I have the blog, because, you know, all the hard work we put on the blog, it just makes a lot more easier to promote the show.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially if I'm doing like an underground hip hop show. I have the platform now to promote it, when other promoters have to resort to platforms like mine to promote it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So now I'm cutting off the middleman.
Yeah.
Now, you know, that's what hard work gets you. That's what consistency gets you. You know, and for the people who've seen me work and Pause One work and my brother work, y'all see it. Y'all have seen the fruition, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't just throw a show 10 years ago and thought everything was going to go well. No, you know, but prior to that, I was already throwing my own shows as an artist, meeting you and putting, you know, the Stardust days and just, you know, throwing my own locally grown shows in my hometown. But now Underground Hip Hop Blog, that entity, the brand is known to throw some of the dopest shows in LA.
Yeah, I was more mad that when you guys did the show in Texas, I had already PCS'd for South by Southwest. I was like, damn, dude.
Oh yeah, and then you remember, huh? And then you remember us throwing shows there, huh? You're like, oh man,
I was already gone.
Yeah.
I was there for the recon, and then I left Texas, and then I was like, damn, they went back and fucking did shows. Dope, man.
Yeah, yeah,
So
man. So now
that was
it's
really
like
cool.
I've done how many shows, man? So we're the first
Yeah.
ones to bring out,
You guys
and
did
we're known,
Griselda. You did Griselda too, right?
yeah, we're the first ones
Yeah.
to bring out Griselda. We're the first ones to bring all three of them together,
Yeah.
you
That's
know,
freaking cool.
and we're the first ones to bring out Czarface.
Oh
We're
shit,
the
that's right.
we're the first
That's
ones,
right.
we're the first ones to bring out Conejo.
Yeah.
We're the first ones to bring out Flea Lord. We're the first ones to bring out, you know, on the headlining level, Gavlin. I'm not
Yeah.
saying I'm not here trying to take any credit. These are artists who put in the work, so
Yeah.
they earn that headliner notoriety.
That's right.
You
That's right.
know,
All
I'm not.
amazing artists.
Yeah. Um, and to this day, we take risks. We're the ones doing Cannibal Ox. We're the ones doing Killer Army.
Yeah.
We're the ones doing Cool Keith still.
Yeah.
So and we do these shows because we do this for the community. We do this
Yeah.
for LA. We do this to obviously support the artists that are
Yeah.
still relevant, and they still do this for a living.
Yeah, we
So
need these shows, man.
yeah,
Absolutely.
and the thing is, it's not a money making game. For these promoters who try to dive into this thinking they want to make a quick buck, and when no guest list, they just want to sell over exaggerated tickets. They have no platform to promote the shows. Nothing against these promoters, but it is a tough business,
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know. And I've been able to learn through the trenches in this business to negotiate and have that authority, to have that confidence to make relationships with these artists to a point where, like, we're mainly business partners now. We're not, this artist doesn't treat me like a typical promoter.
Yeah.
This artist right here looks at me as a value now.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I would rather do a show with Underground Hip Hop Blog, because if I do a show with another promoter, they're not going to promote me as they're going to rely on me to promote them.
Yeah.
And I see that. So, like, artists, when we book these like legends or these OGs, quote unquote, they know we're going to do our thing. They're confident enough to, like, well, they're going to do the proper promo. They
Yeah.
got the platform. Maybe I'll take a bit less from them because I rather focus on my brand and my image more than taking a check.
That's the resume that you built, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So a lot of these promoters try to partner with me and this and that, but sometimes it just doesn't work out because they just don't have the relationships like I do. They just want to, like, throw money at me and partner up with me, and that's it. No, 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 no. Those days are over. It's all about building rapport,
Yeah.
being good in business, not effing people over. You deliver what you promised. And you always keep that professional. You don't take nothing personal in this business, because if
Yeah.
these headliners took anything personal, they would never get booked for a show. So they shrink. Everybody's egos are shrunk, and then we just all want to work together for the fans, to give the fans a good show. you
Yeah.
know and I'm blessed enough that I built those relationships to a point where, like, I'm talking about legends, bro. Like, legends, I know they got thousands of fans. There's promoters who wish they could be in the rooms with these legends,
Yeah.
but like you said, I built my platform to a point where they respect my brand, and their gut feels like they would rather throw a show with me. Like, we recently just did a Cormega show. I would have never thought in
Yeah.
my life I would do a Cormega show. He
That's
doesn't
wild.
he doesn't do shows for just anybody. He's the type of dude where, like, yo, it has to be the dope promoters that book me, but not no, like, corporate promoters where they don't even know how to promote me.
Yeah.
So I'm just blessed enough that the culture and the community that I built just makes life a lot more easier. And, like, if one advice I tell promoters is this: just create a platform, to have something else going on besides just you throwing shows. Because if you got something else going on, it just makes life a lot more easier. But a lot of people are just
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. And so, just all this talk about business, and you mentioned certain things. about building your brand, about monetizing yourself, about just knowing your worth, man. What's your major advice for anybody that wants to do something similar to you? If you could talk to young Vic, man, what is something that you would leave him with in terms of advice?
Just don't do it for the money. That's it.
All right.
If you're in it for the money, you're in it for the wrong reasons.
Okay.
If you're a photographer, if you're a content creator, if you want to create a blog, you know, don't the money will come later. You got to put in the work.
Yeah.
Let the industry come to you.
Oh.
And I'm not the biggest or the baddest blog either. I'm still like our underground hip hop blog is kind of mid-tier. We're not big tier, but we're not bottom tier. We're always mid-tier, and that's where we belong.
I say 80K is pretty freaking huge, man. Good shit, man.
And we're always going to be mid-tier because that's where we belong. Because I would never want to forget about the artists barely submitting to us, releasing their first joints.
Okay.
Or even the OGs releasing their 10th album.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm so blessed that I get love from both of these type of MCs in their respective careers. Okay. Now, I do, it's to the point where a lot of these up and coming artists are looking at me for advice for their careers because they know I work with a lot of reputable artists.
Sure. So
I pick, I like to share information like, hey, look, see, these artists are big because they do this. You should be doing that. So I never give advice to an artist because I'm an expert in nothing. I'm not. I just see what these successful artists are doing. Yeah. I would love to show you guys or share with you guys what they're doing.
That's it, man. Just sharing what you've seen and observed.
Yeah, because I come across artists that come to my office with a photographer, with a manager, with a publicist, and I'm like, wow. So this one artist has these 3 people with them. But then there's an artist that comes by themselves, and they're asking me advice. Oh, hey, how can I get bigger? And this and that. And there's no secret sauce to this. I just kind of feel like you need to have a team. Bottom line. Like some sort of team. If you're hanging around with homies that are just going to be homies, if one of them can't be your publicist, if one of them can't be your photographer, if the other homie can't be like the homie at least submitting your music to blogs, I think you might be kicking it with the wrong homies. They're still homies, but they just don't have their information.
Sure.
And sometimes I'm that first homie that they meet. Like, hey, why don't you have a website? Why are you promoting Linktree?
Yeah, let's hear that. That's a good point. I want you to mention what we talked about the other day about about creating your own brand. That's a good point about the website. Can you talk about that in terms of rather than promoting, let's say, websites that host it like Linktree, why don't you create www. whatever your rapper name is .com, right? I think that was a great point that you talked to me about.
Yeah, we live in a day and age where everything's tracked with cookies and stuff like that. You got to take advantage of the tools we have. And like I said, I am not an expert in none of this stuff. Yeah. I just see what's out there, and these are the tools that we all have. This is all public information here, and this is not the secret sauce, but obviously I'm a branding guy. Obviously, It's all about underground hip hop blog. Why do you think when I throw shows, you see the logo? And then when I do the mic sessions, you see the logo. And then when you see my album reviews, you see the logo.
Yeah.
I'm all about promoting my brand. I don't want to promote YouTube. I don't want to promote Instagram. I don't want to promote Twitter. These are all great platforms to use.
That's right.
Spotify is great to use. Linktree is great to use.
I love it.
But, promote your own brand.
That's right, man.
I'm a fan of brands. Anybody can make music. But I always respect an artist who has their brand on point, like a Rock Marciano.
Right.
A Primo. A Madlib. You know, Rock Marcy, you go to rockmarcy.com, you
That's
can
it.
find everything on his website, from his merch to his new music. Like, I'm still that dude. I'm almost 40 years old. I come from a cloth where I, I might not even want to go on some dude's Instagram. That sucks up all my energy in my day.
Hmm.
I'm still looking. I'm naturally going to go to your .com. There's still people like that. Don't forget about that.
Sure.
You know, and there's always a little kick to it. The thing is, like, my pet peeve is Linktree. So I've been able to consult a lot of artists where they walk into my office and they walk out with their .com,
Sure.
and they purchase it on their own
Yeah.
because
And it's not that much, man. Right?
no, I created this company called Enzo Domains.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Shout that out.
I created that company to fill in the void, just like how I filled a void with the blog. So I'm a web developer at heart. So I earned that title because of all the websites I've helped manage and built, and the SEO aspect. The server aspect of this. I've learned all this through the trenches. I've learned from the blog.
Yeah.
You know, and then I noticed, like, publicists. I work with a lot of publicists. So publicists, they know me and my company. They reach out to me on behalf of their clients. But why is it that the most successful artists, most of the times, they have their website on point? They
Yeah.
always promote their brand when they're on tour, right? Like, when a reputable artist is on tour, they tell people, hey, don't buy tickets on Eventbrite. Just go to my website. You'll
Yeah.
find all the information on my website. So
Sure.
imagine if, like, they're on a 10-city tour and you got 10 promoters promoting your website,
Yeah.
telling people, hey, just go to mayhemloren.com to buy tickets.
That's right.
Now you got Mayhem Loren sharing his website, is being shared by cats from LA, cats from Texas, cats from New York, cats from London. And if you're not an analytics guy or a stats guy, get to know one in
Yeah.
2023, because any analytics guy will tell you how important it is to have your own website, because
Yeah.
when artists spend so much energy promoting third parties like YouTube,
Yeah.
Spotify, I got my new single out on
Yeah.
Bandcamp. I got my
You,
new single out on SoundCloud. I got my new.
you're doing their work for them, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So imagine when I figured out that formula, when I'm
Yeah.
like, look, I
That's a
could just
great point.
blog. Like, when I blog, I probably blog, I probably promote 5 rappers a day, right?
Hmm.
When I'm on my blog zone, right? So in 30 days, 30 times 5, that's 150 artists, right? Yeah. Yeah, 30, whatever. 5, 10, 15, like 30, 60, 90, 120, 150. Okay,
There you go, man.
150 artists in 1 month.
All right.
I don't even need to share. I don't even need to post these artists on my social media. I don't even need to post these artists on my Instagram. Now, in 1 month, I got 150 artists sharing the fact that Underground Hip Hop Blog just promoted them.
That's right. So now the fan base that they have are
They're going to my website.
additional people sharing your info. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between an artist? Look, when you have a dope website, it's only probably costing no more than $8 or $10 a month to host it.
Sure.
Okay. And the whole saying, hey, if you're buying Jordans, you could afford a website. If you're buying that preamp, you could afford a website.
Yeah.
If you're paying DistroKid to distribute your music to all these platforms for like the $100 a year,
Yeah.
you could afford to have your website.
100%, man.
You know, but when you don't have a website, then you're doing all the work for everybody else besides promoting your own brand. So now imagine that artist who has a website and has their Spotify on there, has a YouTube video on there, has the single cover of their new single, or has a download of the new album. And then there's a contact form. And then, just the bare minimum, but the basics that you need
Yeah.
to promote a proper website. Now,
Sure.
if you got something that's called a metapixel or a Google pixel, that right there is so dope because now you could put a code on your website. It's a simple code that Facebook gives you and Google gives you. And then now you could track what people do on your website.
Sure.
Now you can see what cities are visiting your website. So look, so on your YouTube, you should have your website. On your Facebook, you should have your website. On your Instagram bio, you should have your website because now you're not promoting no other third party but your website.
That's right.
Instead of you redirecting your fans to other places,
Yeah.
giving them the web traffic, you're giving fans an opportunity to go to your own platform and you reach the same objective.
That's right.
You know, now you're gathering your own audience of website visitors.
That's right.
Now the day comes where you're selling merch.
Yep.
So I always tell MCs this: if you stream 10,000 a month on Spotify, which is not hard to do, there's a demand for your merch. Where do artists sell their merch at? Their own website.
Yeah.
Right?
Send them over there.
So when you've built up your following to a point where now you're at the point where you can sell merch on your website, guess what? Now when you're selling a product, you're a business, okay? And you're not a business unless you advertise. That's just my pet peeve.
Yeah.
Now, do you want to advertise to the general public and advertise to complete strangers? Or wouldn't you want to advertise to every single person who's been on your website?
That's right, man.
You know? So, and then that's cheaper than advertising to complete strangers who don't care about you.
Yeah, and it probably costs more, right? So,
yeah.
yeah.
So it costs more to market your merch to Kendrick Lamar fans. Why do you want to do that?
Yeah.
If Kendrick Lamar fans never heard of you, why would they even want to click on it?
Sure.
But hey, if you run an ad to your pixel audience, and what a pixel audience is all the people who've been to your website. Okay. You could track these people for a whole year.
Wow.
Now imagine if you got a buzz and you just direct people to your website. Oh, the second you have that merch, you run an ad to people who visited your website. The cost per click is a lot more cheaper because you're giving them relevant content. The more clicks you get, the more cheaper it gets. Yep. People are going to click on your ad more or what you're selling more because they know who you are already and they want to support you. There's a reason why they went to your website.
Sure.
A real fan goes to an artist's website. A lot of artists tell me, well, I don't need a website. Well, if you don't need a website, keep promoting Linktree. Because Linktree is like, I think, a psychological tool to make people believe they don't need a website. But guess what Linktree is doing? They got codes on their website.
Sure.
And now they're going to track all your fans.
Yeah.
And they're going to cut you off. So the funneling stops from there. So like I said, I always tell people this: when you buy a .com, it's so easy to buy a .com. It's a little bit more, labor intensive to make your own website. But if you're a DIY artist and you just get all this information and you apply it, life gets a lot more easier.
Yeah, sure.
And especially because with the new tracking systems and the codes and the pixel this and like that, there's nothing wrong with, looking at numbers and stats, especially when you're in control of your own career.
Yeah.
So your Spotify too. Your Spotify is great to promote, but it's more like they got the industry on a chokehold where that's the only platform now.
Yeah.
So rather, if you release anything, just promote your website. And like I said, it's not there's a lot of popping artists right now who don't need a website, but you're not them.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own little formula, but most of the times these popping artists, they can't even have their website because when they try to look up their domain, it's being sold for thousands of dollars.
Oh, right.
And
hoping that they try to buy it from that person, right?
Yes.
Yeah, such a dirty game.
And that's another shady thing in the business too. And that's the definition of the music business. Yeah. Like, hey guys, making music is dope, but once second you try to sell something, Now you went from making music to being in the music business.
Sure.
And it's just harsh reality. It's just something that you gotta be comfortable to have those type of conversations.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people don't like the business side of things, and it turns a lot of people off.
Yeah.
And this and that, having your own website, oh well, that's a bill, and this and that. Well, hey, you're paying DistroKid.
Pay for
Oh, you
yourself,
don't
man.
hesitate to pay DistroKid, right? But what does DistroKid do? They're gonna put your name everywhere. They're gonna put your name on Spotify, YouTube, Deezer, on Apple Music. By the time your brand is out on all these platforms, odds are your .com is taken,
Mm,
because these domain hijackers know that you're investing money in yourself.
that's right. That's right.
And that's
No.
something that I've learned off of pure observation. It's because a lot of rappers come, and guess what do you think I talk about? Hey, you have a website? Let me jump on your website. And then the rappers that do have websites, I love it. I'm like, okay, dope, dope, okay, dope. But the rappers that don't have their websites, that's when I have these conversations.
Yeah,
And
I
then
love
and then
that,
they,
man.
and then they thank me later. And then I'm like, why is it that I'm the first one to tell you this?
Uh,
You've made music for all these years and you never owned a .com.
yeah.
That's an example of you rolling with individuals that are just trying to kick it.
Yeah, well, it's a different level too, right? They're still learning, and so I would say that you've been very fortunate to see what works and not works. So I'm glad that you share that advice to the younger generation, man. Straight up.
Yeah, yeah, and you don't have to go to Enzo Domains. You could go on HostGator, GoDaddy. Just
Yeah,
just grab your domain. It's a small
that's
little
right.
investment, and it's not hard.
Yeah,
Why
sure.
pro- why promote Linktree when you could just promote your .com and just forward it to your Linktree?
Yeah,
You
brilliant, man.
know, stop giving attention to all these people that are trying to manipulate you to promote them. Because Linktree is owned by somebody.
Yeah,
You
that's a
know, so
great that's a great point, man.
yeah, so it's like even if you can't afford a website, even registering your domain still comes in handy.
Sure.
I know a kid who registered his domain. He doesn't even need a website. He said, dude, I don't want to get involved in paying $8 or $10 a month, but I really want the domain because I know how important it is. I don't want to get jacked.
Yeah.
And then the next week he buys merch talking about, next time I saw him like a week or two later, he has a whole hoodie talking about, productpistolas.com. It's an MC from LA. His name is Product Pistolas. He actually made merch that
Okay.
said productpistolas.com.
So
And then when people hit that, it just goes to his link tree.
nice.
Now it's like, now you just branded yourself. Now you look a little bit more professional. And professionalism has nothing to do with hip hop. You can make the dopest music in the world. But you know what? Tweaking your brand a little bit, there's nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
And obviously talking to a guy who founded Underground Hip Hop Blog, when I tell them that, compared to their homies telling them that, they rather listen to me because I have that authority.
Yeah.
And I've worked my ass off to a point where like I do have the authority where people kind of listen and they take my advice because
Sure.
they know I've been through the trenches. I have 10 years of experience. I'm not just some
Trusted
dude.
agent. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. And I care about your brand.
Yeah.
Like, people who have these conversations with you, they don't want to take money from you. They care about what you're doing and they just want to protect you, because I've seen all the sharks, bro. There's sharks. There's so many sharks in this industry. A
Oh
lot of
yeah.
artists, when they
Sure.
get involved with paying for promo and paying for publishing and publicists and this and that and DistroKid and CD Baby, they're spending money left and right, but they're always forgetting about their own brand. And like, I just come from that cloth. I might be too old school, but when people listen to my advice, then it's more of a bigger picture approach.
Yeah, and I want to credit your your foundation with the service that you provided to the U.S. Navy, man. And so I think you learned a lot of your values from there. Do you agree or not agree? What do you think?
Man, man, I was so young, man. I was a kid in the Navy, man. I was 18 to 23 years old. So I
Yeah,
was still growing, learning life and figuring it out, you know.
yeah. Were a lot of the
Um,
values that you carry today, was that from what you experienced in service?
um, I always feel like I'm still the same dude. No,
Okay.
I never really, when I entered, I was, I never felt like I switched it up. My
Okay.
whole goal was to do 20 years. I'm not gonna lie. I
Okay.
remember when I joined, I wanted to do 20 years. I was like, yo, this is my life. I love it. It's easy money. I was just like, benefits, like you can't really beat it, even though
Yeah.
you get vaccinated with everything in the book, whatever, you know. Uh, you
Yeah.
know,
Hey, and you were on the medical side of things, right? You served as a
yeah.
corpsman
So
and
yeah,
most specifically, green side corpsman, right?
yeah.
Tell
So
tell me what a green side corpsman is for people that don't know.
oh man.
It's important, man.
Yeah, man. I haven't talked about the military in ages, man. But because man, that's so long time ago. Man, I got out when I was 23 years old.
Yeah.
You know, so don't depend on me for CPR, man, because But getting back to the military things, formally speaking, yeah, I joined in the Navy.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a hospital corpsman.
Okay.
Army medic sounded too dangerous around 9/11, So after post 9/11 happened, Army medic sounded very dangerous. I'm like, no, I'm not going to be an Army medic,
That's
you know.
funny.
So let me be a hospital corpsman. That sounds real safe. I'm going to work at a hospital, you
All
know.
right.
So I went that route,
Uh-huh.
and then I just, and I came from a continuation high school. I was a high school dropout. I got kicked out of all my high schools for you know, teenage stuff, foolery, um, and but as soon as I just started, hanging out with people with goals and with they wanted to do something in life, or they're in the military for a reason,
Yeah.
and these are all dudes just like me. They come from different hoods, different areas of the
Sure.
country. And it's growing up with people from LA is a lot different than meeting people from all over the country,
Yeah.
because then everybody has different backgrounds, different slangs, different attitudes, different body languages. So and then like it's tougher to, it's so, locals, it's so easy to get a team in your local area, your local hood, or your friends that you grew up with. That's easy.
Yeah.
But when you develop skills to like get, five people from different walks of life
Yeah. That's right.
on the
Yeah.
same page to do like-minded stuff, it blows your mind away, because you're like, wow, like this is dope. So I kind of like the military aspect of it, where you meet complete strangers and you're a
Yeah.
stranger to them. And then like, obviously you gravitate to people who relate to you,
Yeah.
you
Sure.
know. So I like that aspect of it. So when I got to school after boot camp, uh I was bunkies with a Filipino guy, half Mexican, half Filipino. To this day, he's one of my best friends, Quillintang,
Nice.
and Solano, some dude named Solano, and they were just study geeks. They used to study all the time in school. So what else do I have to do? Study with them, you know? And it was more like competitive. I felt like I needed to prove something to all my classmates, like, yo, I'm not dumb, I'm not dumb, you know. If I study as hard as you guys, I could probably be up there with you guys. So I remember I was the top of my class out of like the 50 graduates, me, Quillintang, me and my roomie, we were up in the top 5 in grades and averages and all that. And I
Okay.
remember while everybody was trying to go to lab school, or because being a corpsman is like a medical assistant, right? You're like a LVN, medical assistant slash LVN. You're like in the middle,
Right.
you know. And then after corpsman school, you could either go do a trade like a lab tech, or X-ray tech, or preventive medicine tech, or physical therapy tech, or you could be a surgical tech, or you could go FMF,
There you go, man.
you know. And FMF is like, oh no, nobody wants to go FMF. But I just remember one day my corpsman instructor, he was a recon guy. I remember, he was our instructor. He had the jump wings, and he had the little metal, like he was a scuba diver.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah. Okay.
so whenever you see those type of individuals, you could tell like, okay, this guy's recon. You
Yeah.
know, so this guy came from recon, and shrunk his ego down to be a corpsman instructor. So like
Mm.
for you to do that, you got to humble yourself down, you know, to deal with kids and deal with youngsters after you see you're a recon dude, and then you're dealing with like, young little dudes who think they know it all, you know? But I remember he told me something, man, and he kind of effed me over, but not in a bad way. He just told me this. He's like, hey man, you don't belong nowhere else, but you belong with the Marines, because the Marines need you. Because like, you're smart, dude. Like, I could tell, bro. Like, the Marines need you. The Marine Corps needs you. And I'm just like, and ever since he told me that, it bothered me. Because then now I was like, fuck, man. Like, fuck, for this guy to tell me that. And it's like, he's not really telling the other dudes this, you know? And then that's when I was like, okay, that's my opportunity to go back home. Because I was always home. I'm missing home. I'm a SoCal guy. So, if I go FMF, there's only 3 places I'm going to go. Either Okinawa, Camp Lejeune, or Camp Pendleton. So
you ended up at Pendleton, right?
Yeah. So if I go the normal Navy route, I could end up anywhere in the world.
Yeah. Japan, somewhere cool.
Japan, on a ship, or anywhere. Hawaii, Guam, right? Australia. Yeah. And I miss home so much. I was like, look, I'm gonna just roll the dice, because if I go FMF, odds are I'm gonna go to Camp Pendleton.
Yeah, for sure.
I already knew that. Mm-hmm. So I took that route only because my A school instructor told me, like, hey, you need to be a doc. You need to be like, whatever. The Marine Corps needs you. And then obviously, like, that always resonated in my head, because now I'm to the point where, like, man, like, he wants me to do something. He doesn't want me to just be a regular corpsman. I ended up enrolling to FMF school, and then I ended up going to this mini Marine Corps boot camp. And then so that's the thing. I didn't realize that I had to go to a boot camp for the Marine Corps. I'm like, whoa, And then after that, I ended up in China Lake, and that was my first ever duty station. I was a Blue Side medical corpsman working at a small little clinic, putting thermometers in babies' butts, and being a medical assistant for a family practice physician.
Sure.
And we were just taking care of dependents and just military family members, and mostly these family members were from pilots and like bombers, and it was China Lake Naval Air Weapons Station. So after China Lake, OIF 2 was popping off. So that's when I got attached to the 1st Marine Division Infantry, 245th Marines. And I did a tour in Ramadi. And I saw my fair share of combat. I got wounded, and I witnessed some stuff that, probably can't even talk about here.
Yeah.
But I was surrounded with a great group of individuals. And, to this day, my respect for the Marine Corps is just beyond words. What these guys go through, and me being an outsider, being embedded with these guys and not knowing the ropes, and these guys took care of me, and I credit them for my survival. But obviously I had to do a lot of grunt work and Marine Corps stuff too, because at the end of the day I have to blend in, so I can't just look like a Navy dude with them. So I got the M16.
No shot to your no shot to your Navy brothers though, right?
No shots to my Navy brothers, but I had to get the M16, and they gave me the 9mm and a few grenades here and there. Not because I'm ever going to use them, it's just because I just can't stand out as a medic, And I remember first going over there, people who went to war and came back gave me advice, and they always told me, hey, the medics are always the first ones that get aimed at and get hit. I'm like, no way, And then soon come to find out, yeah, it's true. Many of our corpsmen have Purple Hearts, and not because we wanted them, it's just because sometimes we do stuff that other people will not ever dare to do. Like for example, when somebody gets shot or somebody gets ambushed, imagine you being the guy having to go and take care of this patient.
Yeah, you're the dude that got to stop the bleeding, man. So you're there to keep our soldiers and
so I was blessed enough. I was blessed enough to be surrounded with great instructors, great people who get good mentors. You know how important it is for mentorship in the military. You know,
100%.
and and obviously they're not going to throw a 19-year-old kid out there with no training. So I was blessed enough to excel in A school, be around good training while I was going through the trauma courses that I was taking
Yeah.
with the FMF program. It's called FMSS. But throughout all that, I couldn't even believe that I was in the front lines with with the morphine kits, with the epinephrine, with the chest tube kits, with the
Sure.
criciotomy kits. And I need to know how to use these things to keep somebody alive.
That's
The
right.
turn the tourniquets, obviously I got the IV bags, I got IV, tubes, and sometimes I have to take the medications for Marines when, I got to be make sure the Marines have their meds. If somebody's prescribed something, it's my, obviously, my boss is the doctor. So my doctor prescribes any sort of medication for Marines. I got to be on top of it. I'm the one making sure all the Marines their feet are clean and their socks are changed. And, and sometimes I'm the counselor because I'm the mental health counselor sometimes because these Marines sometimes don't want to talk to other Marines.
Sure.
So, I'm the guy that they talk to, that they feel comfortable telling their personal stuff to,
Yeah.
you know.
Sure
And then
thing.
so I learned that it wasn't just a corpsman. I
Yeah.
was out there. I had a certain role, and I had a certain place in the unit. And there's and out of 100 Marines, there's probably a good 6 or 7 corpsmen.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
I don't want, you're a modest dude, man, since I've known you for, 20 plus years. And you're probably not going to say this, but I'm going to highlight this, that my man was a Navy Times Sailor of the Year awardee too. So you've done some big things in your military career. And it's quite obvious just in the responsibility that the medic has in general to keep our guys and gals alive, right? So, yeah,
that was a part of my life where I feel like I
yeah,
went through hell to enjoy heaven.
yeah,
So when I got that recognition, it wasn't because something I did in particular. No, it was I came from a unit
yeah,
that got recognized for a lot of the bad things that happened to us.
sure.
And then they just picked me out of the
Yeah,
trip out, right? They just picked
yeah,
my name out the hat out of
yeah,
every single sailor in the Navy, from every rate to any rank.
yeah,
And they I don't know, they picked me. I don't know why, but once I got that recognition and I went to Washington D.C. to represent the whole Navy at this point, I kind of knew why they picked me, because of the fact of that I was a corpsman. I did the FMF thing, and it's not because they picked me. I just feel like corpsmen in general, they were not getting recognized as much, because whenever we see movies and we see Marine Corps movies and stuff like that, they never highlight the corpsman.
sure.
you know so at that time, General Hagee was the commandant of the Marine Corps,
Okay.
and his background, that he was a grunt. So I kind of feel like he had a lot more involved to me getting recognized the way I did than the actual Navy chain of command.
Interesting.
Interesting, because the
Yeah,
unit that I was part of got a lot of notoriety because of some bad things that happened.
that's right. Yeah.
you know so I come from an adverse type of group where,
Mm,
like, at the end of the day, I came back. I should have came back broken. I should have came back with PTSD and this and that, but no, I came back and I got my associate's degree in general studies in like 6 months.
yeah.
I just enrolled in school, took advantage of tuition assistance, and it's huge for, my family, and it's huge for a minority to win something like this or to get recognized for something like this.
Mm,
Um, and then obviously I was proud to represent the corpsman rate, not just corpsman in general, but FMF corpsman.
yeah.
And most importantly, I got to represent the unit that I served with, 2-4 Magnificent Bastards. So
There you go,
that's
baby.
all over my citation. But like I said, I don't really, talk about that recognition, because, most of the times I feel like I didn't deserve it,
Yeah,
because, at that time, my mind was somewhere else. My mind was
yeah,
still in combat. I was still You
Trying to
know,
stay alive and keep
yeah,
people
yeah.
alive, right? Yeah.
I was missing that. I was
Yeah.
like, yo, I just, if I had an opportunity to go back to Iraq and patrol again, I would have went.
Yeah.
You know, but but God put me in that situation because there was a reason for it. I'm hoping I inspired, my story inspired other people's to make career decisions that they probably would have never even thought of. Because
Yeah. Indeed.
I heard through the grapevine that um, coincidentally, a lot of Marine Corps recruiters weren't trying to pick up a lot of grunts around that time because everybody were grunts. Grunts, there was so many grunts. So
Sure.
because of my recognition, I heard through the grapevine that a lot of these people who were going to the Marine Corps office saying, hey, we're kind of, we're not really taking much people right now, but hey, have you ever heard about being a Navy corpsman? Look
Yeah.
what this kid did.
Yeah. Sure.
You could still do Marine stuff, but if you become an FMF corpsman, you might want to go that route.
Yeah.
So I heard through the grapevine that my story inspired people's career decisions.
That's awesome, man.
So I'm like, wow. So it wasn't about me, So if I had any sort of influence on convincing people to become FMF corpsmen, wow, and that really humbled me, and that gave me a true appreciation of overall what I did and what I experienced, and with my unit and stuff like that. So yeah, I remember, I took all my family over there, and
Yeah.
it was a big recognition,
It's a big deal, man.
yeah, it was a big deal
Big deal.
because it's like I don't just represent myself, I represent the branch of the Navy.
That's right. Navy Sailor of the Year, the entire Navy, not a unit award, not not a command award, but the freaking entire Navy, man. That's major,
Yeah,
brother.
yeah. So I kind of skipped everybody else for
Yeah.
some reason,
Yeah.
and not because I asked for it.
Yeah, that's right. You don't want to get blown up, man. You know what I mean? Saying
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah,
Like
you
it's
don't want
not
to get
like,
put in
oh
those
yeah, I want
situations.
Sailor of the Year. No, 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 no. So
Yeah,
it just my story got spread around through multiple, I guess, from my chief to commanders to all the way up to headquarters.
sure.
So somehow somebody got a hold of my story. Somebody must have written me up for something that I didn't even know about. I was blessed enough to get all this free leave and talk to people that I would never interact with. I would have never thought in a million years I would have interacted with 2 years before when I was at a continuation high school,
Yeah,
almost dropping out of high school,
wild, man.
you know. And
Wow.
so the way I had to perform and went from a grunt to becoming a Navy professional. It just blew my mind, and I look back at it like, man, I was so young. How the hell did I do all that?
Yeah,
But it was, God willing, he helped me out, and I had a good support system. So yeah, just be around a good support system, and don't be ever afraid to volunteer for shit. Don't ever be voluntold to do anything in the military.
that happens a lot, though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you with what you got going on, you know, you know somebody who's been there and done that. So, even if, you done research on me, hopefully you could, steer a young gal or dude in the right direction who's in the service
Yeah,
and who's
100%.
young. And, the possibility is there. They could be the soldier of the year one day. You never
Yeah,
know,
that's right.
'cause
It is our responsibility to train the next generation. I'm so big on mentorship and information sharing that I mean, you hit it on the head, brother. You're right. It's our responsibility to share what we know, and one day we spark that brain that may be, like you said, future Navy Sailor of the Year, man.
yeah, and I was so blessed to experience that at such a young age to be a mentor.
Yeah,
Because you can't
100%.
imagine, I was forced to be a mentor at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
You,
And
you
still to
know?
this day, man, you mentor people on music and the
Yeah,
blog, the business aspect. So I love that you have maintained that role throughout your life. That's great.
yeah, yeah. But I'm always a hip hop head.
That's right, baby. Till I die.
Even in my citation, man, if you read like the bottom of my Navy time citation,
Uh-huh.
they ask me like a question, so what do you plan to do when you get out? Or, what do you plan to do? And then like on the bottom say, well, I just plan to still make my music, and I'm a hip
Dope.
hop head, and I don't know if I'm gonna do. And
I love
people,
it.
and that's a career move. That's something where like there's no doubt in my mind, anybody's mind, that this kid who won Sailor of the Year was going to do 20 years. That was my whole, once I got that, I was like, well, this is my life.
Sure.
But then, I went back to Iraq and then I got wounded again on
Yeah.
a simple little convoy. And so, you know, God let me do another route. I was meant to get out the military because I kind of felt like, look, if I'm going to stay in, I'm probably going to get killed.
Yeah.
Because once you're FMF corpsman and you're seasoned, then best believe they want you there.
Yeah. You're going out again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my second deployment was kind of easy, not compared to my first. There was obstacles. I'm not saying it was a smooth ride, but it was just a different culture. It was a different era. I wasn't Navy Time Sailor of the Year no more. And I was just kind of just tired of the deployments and just
Yeah.
realizing that what,
It was
if I
heavy.
do if I do 20, especially in this time, most likely I'm going to deploy and be infantry again and this and that. So sometimes in the Navy, I don't know if in the Army they say MOS, but in the Navy your rate is your fate.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
and then having that pin, that metal pin is cool, a FMF pin, but keep in mind when you have the FMF pin, you're always going to be FMF.
Yeah.
And when the Marine Corps needs you, they're gonna grab you. But I'm the type of person where like I'm mission first. So if the Marine Corps needs me, I'm gonna be there. I'm
Yeah.
not the
Yeah.
type of person who's trying to, skate from nothing or nothing like that. So, and like I said, I think my core school instructor, he saw something in me that he didn't see in nobody else. And to this day, I hope to this day he came across a Navy Times article, because I always thought of him like, man, he didn't realize that, he's the
Yeah.
reason why I became Navy Times.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if it wasn't for him, I would have never
Yeah.
joined FMF.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
right. A gift
if
and a gift and a curse, man.
yeah, and he was like some recon dude,
Yeah.
and I always thought like, I'm sure he came across the article. I'm sure
Yeah.
he did. And he's like, yo, that's my guy right there.
That's
See,
right.
that's you know, that's exactly what mentorship is,
Yeah.
right there. You know,
Influence. Yeah.
yeah, influence and mentorship, and so yeah, and don't ever be nerd. And in the military, there's no stupid question.
That's
You
right.
know,
Ask. Ask it. Yeah.
just
I
don't.
agree.
But other than that, keep your head low, and the military is not for everybody, you
Yeah.
know, but it's always an option for somebody that's trying to just do something different, and
Sure.
it's a great opportunity for a kid to become independent too.
Yeah. Yeah. I
'Cause,
think you're right. It's
yeah,
one option, man.
yeah, it's just one option, and you don't have to do 20 years, man. So I
No,
did I
not
did
at all.
5 years, and I got out, and to this day I'm a strong advocate for veterans. I just
Yep.
built, I help out with reunions. I'm involved with Bastard's Canteen.
Yep.
Some of my Marines opened up a restaurant. I'm the web guy. I'm their IT guy, uh, and then obviously, shit, I got my business, and I'm a
Yeah.
homeowner, and VA loan and all this stuff. So there's so many things that the military doesn't tell you. Um, and obviously, don't join the military to get rich. That's not, if you're trying to be rich, go to
Yeah. Wrong.
doctor,
Wrong
lawyer.
job. Wrong job, man.
Yeah, you know. But best believe, I think it's a good foundation for anybody looking for some direction. And at a point in my life when I was a young teenager,
I agree.
I needed some direction. I just needed some direction,
That's right.
and but when I joined, I realized all these dudes are just like me. None of them are He-Man or Commandos or Rambos or stuff like that. They're just dudes trying to just you know serve their country honorably. And at that in my days, there was even dudes that had no immigration paperwork. There were dudes coming straight from Mexico, Puerto Rico, Philippines that just signed up for the Navy. you
Truth,
know
man.
and it's like, if they could do it, why can't we do it? And there's no excuse. And but yeah, I'm the wrong dude to even like to this day, I'm a strong advocate of like anti PTSD, post traumatic growth. Like, I'm in that realm.
Yeah.
I'm not really like you dudes who live in a shell. I get everybody's different, but it's not my fault that I come from a cloth of I'm a grunt. I've been wounded, 2-time Purple Heart. Sailor of the Year, you know, that's my background. That's my foundation.
Sure.
And if you're a veteran, dwelling on life, hating life, thinking about the past, best believe if you just find yourself a creative outlet, it always helps. Creative outlet, always stay busy, create your own business. So you don't have to dwell on all that stuff. So, I credit my blog to even like making me forget all my military past, which is good because now I'm doing my own thing. Like the military is so behind me, but it's still the root of everything that I do.
That's right.
But like I said, it's a little joke I have. Don't even depend on me for any sort of Heimlich remove maneuver or
CPR.
or CPR because yeah,
I'm
those
sure.
days.
I'm sure you could do it if you needed to, though. I promise you that.
Yeah, but I do miss my medicine days and me
Yeah.
studying those books and getting deep down in the books and trauma
Yeah.
and first responder courses and all that stuff. Because if you don't know that stuff, then you have no business being a first line frontline medic. You know.
Well, yeah. Well, I love it, man. Hey, thank you so much for sharing your experiences with your service. To
And thank
share.
you. And yo, man, thank you for your service, man. You
Oh
know,
man, all good, man. I
you know,
still, yeah.
honestly, man,
Yeah.
you're an inspiration to a lot of people, man. So don't ever forget about that, man. You know, you're
Kind, man.
top ranking individual. Keep it pushing, man. Just keep it pushing and yeah. And I think your dad or your family members, right? Your pops was like a
Yeah.
chief or something.
Yeah. Senior chief in the Navy,
Yeah.
26 years of service.
Yeah, so yeah, so no
You
wonder
got me
you have
beat.
respect. No wonder you have respect for Navy guys, man.
Yeah, 100%, man.
And and
Uh,
and I never saw a ship, never saw water, man. So that's something I always tell people. I've never been on a ship, never saw water.
yeah, you're
You
an
know.
Army guy at heart, man. You're on the land with us.
Yeah, and but
Yeah.
yeah, thank you for this interview, and I really look
Oh,
forward to
appreciate it,
it.
man.
And we're gonna about
Yeah.
to jump on a song together soon.
Yeah,
So
hell yeah. I need to get you back on track and get you back on this song. So I'm
and
excited
and
for that.
and for the
And
fact that you're still dropping music to this day, the way that you're doing it, the consistency that you're doing it, you're keeping that whole movement that you created 20 years ago alive, man. So I
yeah,
give you mad props, man.
it's all fun. That's my creative outlet, man. So I do that in between work. But yeah, hey, thank you again, man. And just with that, man, I wanted to thank you for everything that you've done for the service. I want to thank you for the platform that you created for the next generation and allowing artists to still showcase their music and just giving them somewhere where they can, you know, let people know about their music. And then, as mentioned, man, just your service and everything you've done for the community and worldwide, man. So appreciate it, man. It was an amazing time talking to you about this, and I can't wait to share your story, my brother.
Hey, man, likewise, man. I look forward to the lifelong camaraderie and
Yeah.
relationship we built throughout the years. And hey, man, let's make some songs, man.
Yeah,
And
hell yeah.
sometimes I need that spark. Sometimes I need
Yeah.
that spark to get me out of that cave. But hey, man, you've introduced me to a lot of great artists: Shaman Cassette, MC Wicks, Hypoetical, what Son of Ran,
Yeah.
uh, you know, uh, fuck Scorpion Circles.
Shit.
Your
Well,
whole
yeah.
Mind
Hey.
Mechanics crew.
Yeah.
D Mitch.
Yep.
I fuck with everybody that you've worked with, man. So
Yeah.
keep in mind, I'd be still following your all your moves. So I really appreciate the whole hip hop, the foundation that you've built for others to get inspired by. And if it wasn't for music like yourself, I probably would have never even gotten to rapping, uh, creating the blog, and yeah. So shout out to Hypoetical, man. Shout out to the
Yeah.
homie Hypoetical in Hawaii.
All right. With that, I want to close this interview. I'm just curious, man. You're a man of many trades, man. But what do you like to do for fun, man? Tell the people what you like to do for fun before we close this thing out.
Oh man, what I like to do for fun, man. Oh man, I feel like I don't have fun. I work so much.
I know. That's what I'm saying, dude. I'm like, Rusty have time, free time for himself, man.
Right? When people see my schedule, man, they're like, yo, if I'm not blogging, I'm at Bastards. If I'm not Bastards, I'm doing some veteran thing. But you know what? What I like doing for fun, man, I just like kicking it with my Marines, man. You
I
know?
love it, man.
I just like kicking it with my guys. It's nothing like kicking it with the guys who will take a bullet for you or guys that have your 6 24/7. there's nothing like hanging out with guys you go walk into a dark alley with,
Yeah.
and then having, having a few drinks, not getting so overboard, but talking about memories and just never forgetting our guys. And
Yeah.
but you know what? I love bringing veterans together, though. I'm part of a thing called Bachelor's Canteen, where like every year we just bring all these veterans together, and we just have a blast. It's called the Marine Corps birthday.
Yeah. That's
And
so
every year
dope,
the
man.
Marine Corps celebrates their birthday, and somehow, my friend Nick, the owner of Bastards, he we bring this event together, and we just bring all these Marines together into one area, and we just we just throw a big party, you
Love it,
know
man.
and it went from one year, starting it 7 years ago, 8 years ago, and now we're like 8 years deep, to where we bring in, we get 2-3 thousand people together in downtown Downey, and we just blow the city away. We take over the streets. We do live bands. And but
That's dope.
I like doing for fun too, just listening to dope music, man.
That's
That's
it. Hell
yeah,
yeah.
that's all I like doing, man. Listening to good music, and keeping in tune, and keeping up to touch with what's new in hip hop. And I love listening to new artists,
Yeah.
you know, and
Dope.
I love, I just love what I do. I love the blog. I love everything about it. And there's nothing like, doing something that you love. So, not a lot of people get that opportunity or get that wish fulfilled,
100%, man.
you know?
I love that you're doing what you love to do, man. That's the best. Hey, man, well, with that, do you want to shout anybody out before we close this thing out?
Yo,
What up, Mondo? I got to shout out your brother, bro.
yeah. I shout out my
Hell
bro
yeah.
Mondo. He gets down with all the mic sessions, and he's like,
Yeah.
the office manager. He be holding it down, man. He be meeting all the rappers, man. He be meeting all the celebrities.
Yeah. Who runs the Instagram? Is that you or is it both of you?
It's usually
It's both.
me, my bro, or
Uh-huh.
Ian, or Legends. His name's Ian.
Oh, okay. There's a
Other,
couple.
yeah. Other than that, there's like, and then the homie Matt, from Atlanta. He's a Marine.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
yeah. So there's like
Okay.
4 or 5 of us on there.
Dope, man.
So I'm not like, so I don't check all the DMs. I don't do, I hardly check any emails.
Yeah.
But I mainly just oversee everything, and just keep the blog afloat.
Yeah.
And so I give everybody the opportunity to just do what they need to do and focus what they need to do,
I
you
love
know.
it, man.
And then, but yeah, shout out to Mondo, shout out to
Yeah.
my homie Profound,
Yep.
shout out to Hypoetical.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all are family, man. Shout out to you, man. Shout out
Yeah.
to Shimon Cassette. Shout out to Point Blank, one of the dopest photographers in the game.
Dope,
Shout
man.
out to my homie Low Key. Shout out to C3. He be hosting a lot of our shows.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what? Shout out to artists who I've went from fans to business relationships to overall lifelong friendships, like Necro,
Yeah.
Conejo, Ninth Prince of Killer Army.
Sure.
Um, these are dudes who I grew up listening to. Abstract Rude.
Yeah.
I'm very close with these guys. I actually work with these people. And
Fantastic.
yeah, shout out to everybody who just respects the platform, hits us up, submits repetitively, if not daily, weekly, monthly. Anybody who submits to the platform, I ultimately respect, because they're taking time out of their day to reach out to us, because you know that the community is there, and
Yeah.
that's all I care about. As long as the community is there, and the blog never really dwindles down, it's because of all these MCs. It's because of all these producers, all these fans, all these publicists, all these labels, all these PR people, photographers. If it wasn't for all of these people, my blog wouldn't even exist.
Yeah.
So you know and yeah, shout out to WordPress. I'll be telling people a lot, man. If you learn WordPress, it could change your life.
Ooh, I love it, man.
Yeah, but other than that, man, I really appreciate the interview. My bad for the computer shutting down. I don't know what happened.
No, it's okay. Yeah, it's a very inspirational story, man. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to share this thing out, man. So thank you again. I appreciate you, brother.
All right, Thank you, Memphis Reigns. Yo, shout out to Memphis Reigns, and you know, we'll get to it. Peace.
All right.